Good morning. You guys take your seats, but first let's give a rousing round of applause for the band getting us going this morning. It's good to see you all. It's been a little bit since graduation, so ready to get started. For those of you who don't know me, I am Sarah DeCalagero, Chair of the College Faculty Senate, and I'm pleased and honored to welcome you to TCC Spring 2025 Convocation. Our theme this year is Shaping the Future Through Vision, Innovation, and Transformation. We'll start today's program with a college update from President Constant, followed by a Voices in Education discussion panel. After we have much more planned for this morning. So to begin, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Marcia Constant, President of Tidewater Community College.
Good morning, everyone. So I've been here 5 years now, so welcome, Dr. Constant. All right, thank you all so much, so much. It's so good to be here this morning. Thank you, Sarah, for the introduction. And I want to just welcome everyone back. We're so happy that you're here. We hope that everyone had a wonderful break and was able to get some rest and relaxation over the holiday. And so welcome to our TCC faculty and staff. I also want to acknowledge our board members. We have board members here with us this morning. Board member Kim McCullough, board member Lynn Clements, and one of our newest board members, Mr. Al Cobb, and of course, our board member, Mr. Ron Green. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate your presence. We know that you all are very busy people, but for you to take time to come spend a few minutes with us is really acknowledged and it's appreciated. So thank you so much for being here. And I want to start this morning by again thanking all of the TCC faculty and staff for your hard work and your support of TCC. As everyone knows, we are here to serve our students and this Hampton Roads community. And I will say over and over again this morning and throughout this year how much I appreciate your commitment to the great jobs that each of you do every day to support our students. So thank you so much. And I would ask if you would just give yourselves a big round of applause. Since TCC was established in 1968, we have been identified as a national leader among community colleges. And today, this college maintains this prestigious recognition. And like I said, I have just completed my 5th year here, but I want to acknowledge that it's all of you who have contributed to the success of this college. Your years of service, whether you have been here 5 years or 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, or even more, you are the ones who have made TCC the college that it is today. So thank you again. And as you know, we close each of our years with our year-end report or year-end review. And what we try to do during that time is just to highlight some of the accomplishments that you have made throughout the year. We send that report out around commencement time or a couple of days after commencement. And so if you have not had a chance to review the year-end review, I would strongly encourage you to do so. Has everyone seen it for this year? Great, okay. And of course, we could not list everything that you all are doing, but we do want to just kind of highlight some of your great work. And I do receive notes after the newsletter goes out and reminding me to remember we did this and remember we did that, and we do acknowledge it, but we just can't include it all, but you are certainly recognized and appreciated. But this year, I was particularly proud of our new LPN program and the graduates. This new LPN program, along with our existing RN program, will help us to address the healthcare worker shortage that we all know this region is experiencing. And I'm very proud to say, however, that TCC continues to be a leader in this area. As a matter of fact, I received an email just the other day from one of our healthcare partners wanting to look at opportunities to explore more ways in which we can serve the community. And so at this time, if you're here, faculty who are part of the LPN, the RN, and the CNA programs, would you please stand so that your colleagues can see who you are and recognize you, please? Thank you for what you're doing. Another critical area of service for our students is our financial aid department. And this area is often one of those unsung heroes, the group of people who do this hard work to process aid to get our students into the institution when we know that 80 to 90% of our students are financial aid recipients. And this year was particularly important because the Department of Ed, as you know, instituted a new financial aid form for our students, and so there were a lot of hiccups along the way. But even with that, our financial aid staff processed over 14,000 federal and state awards that total pretty close to $19 million to benefit our students this past year. So I would like to ask Ms. Tania LeGrand, who is the new financial aid director, along with any financial aid staff who are in the room, to please stand and be recognized for your diligent service to our students. Thank you all for what you're doing, and we don't see many here this morning because they're away serving students right now, so we understand that. But again, thank you, Tania, for the great work that you and your team are doing, the great leadership. And of course, as reported, the fall 2024 enrollment increased by pretty close to 6%. And I know Anthony will give us numbers, but close to 6% last fall. That is tremendous. That is tremendous. It is a solid increase, and we are very, very proud of that. And I would say that we are just getting started with getting our numbers moving up in the right direction. So at this time, I'm probably going to have everybody in the room standing before I'm done with my remarks. So I'll just tell you that. But I want to thank the advisors, the enrollment task force, the marketing staff, all of the faculty, for your great work in helping us to move these numbers forward. So thank you all, thank you all. More to come on our enrollment growth, but I know that we are definitely, beyond a doubt, moving in the right direction at this point. So thank you for your great work, and we'll just keep it going. But of course, we must keep the momentum going because, as you know, our state funding is based on a 3-year rolling average. So if we want to see these additional dollars coming into the college, and we all have got to be committed to keeping our enrollment numbers up. So again, thank you all for the great work. This past December, over 965 degrees and certificates were awarded. And with the over 1,600 May graduates, TCC awarded approximately 2,500 degrees and certificates during the school year. And that is amazing. So thank you for not only enrollment, getting our students here, but retention, and then getting them across the finish line to completing their degrees or certificates. And also, I want to acknowledge the faculty. I was very happy to see a full house of faculty members, both at our May and December commencements. Thank you all for your presence, as well as your faculty, as well as the staff. But faculty, I want you to know that you are acknowledged, you are seen, and you are appreciated. So thank you. Your robes look so beautiful. So thank you all for being there during commencement. A very important initiative that is moving forward along that here at the college is the installation of security cameras on our campuses. And so far, installation has been completed at our Norfolk and Portsmouth campuses with over 378 cameras in place today. And so there will be more work done. Our goal is to have security cameras at all of our campuses, and with the help of so many, we are moving in that direction to completion. And I frankly have some ideas as to who's working on this important project, but I want to acknowledge everyone associated with this task. So security, facilities, IT, if you are having anything to do with the camera installations, please stand and be recognized this morning. Thank you all. And so we're continuing to look for great things to come with getting our campuses fully have installation of our cameras. And I also want to recognize our Faculty Senate Chair. That's Ms. Sarah DeCalagero, who has just spoken. Sarah, I want the faculty to know that Sarah does an excellent job as your Faculty Senate representative. She is prompt, she is at every cabinet meeting, and she is engaged. And so just to acknowledge you, Sarah, thank you for the great job that you're doing representing our TCC faculty as the Faculty Senate Chair. And also, many of you know, probably everyone knows, that Sarah was elected to the Norfolk School Board. And so she's doing a wonderful job. Yesterday, there was a very nice ceremony, and several of us were there to just cheer her on. So, and I know Sarah is not the only one in the community here that's doing all of these great things, but at this time, I want Sarah to just please stand and be seen again so that your faculty and staff will know who you are and just to appreciate the great things that you're doing. Thank you. Thank you. And also, as all of you know, during our monthly chats, I often ask about new initiatives here at TCC. What can we do? What would be a new initiative for the college? So about a couple of years ago, Dr. Kelly Gillerland, I have not seen Kelly this morning. I don't know if you're in the room, Kelly, but Kelly sent me a note, and she suggested that we pursue a Bellwether Award. So the Bellwether Awards recognize the innovative work of community colleges across the country in three important areas, and those areas are instructional programs, governance and finance, and development. And the Bellwether Award is very prestigious. It's been around since 1995. And last year, there were 88 submissions for the Bellwether Award across the country, all by community colleges, and they were representing 30 states. So 10 awards, 10 colleges were selected for finalists from each of the three categories. And this morning, I am proud to say that TCC, under the direction of Vice President Art Hall and his team, will be recognized as one of the 10 finalists in the workforce development category. And that is wonderful. And this category will recognize colleges that have developed public or private strategic partnerships that promote community and economic development by enhancing workforce. And so I would ask Art and your team to please stand to be recognized this morning. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for keeping TCC on the map across the country. We appreciate that. And for those of you who have not met Art, I'm sure he's probably met everyone by now, but Art is the new Vice President for Workforce Solutions, and he has only been here at the college since March of 2024. I want to say March of 2023, but it's only been not even a year. So he has certainly hit the ground running, and we are very happy to have him. So this morning, I do want to offer a friendly challenge to the other areas that I mentioned, instruction and finance, to please, Michelle, Heather, Karen, call you all out. I love you so much. Consider submitting a proposal for bellwether recognition. We have so much to share with our colleagues across the country. So thank you all for Art, for what you're doing, and everyone else for what you're doing with regard to TCC. As you know, we are moving forward here at TCC. We are moving forward quite well, and we remain committed to our vision, which is to be the community's first choice for education, opportunity, partnerships, and innovation. Truly, that is what we are about. So, what's on the horizon for TCC during the coming year? Well, first of all, we will stay tuned to the national education landscape. We are all anxious to know how the new administration and changes or no changes may impact all of our colleges. What changes will occur, and of course, how will we be prepared to respond? So that's first and foremost on the agenda this year. And also, we will stay on track with our own strategic plan, Innovate 2026. This strategic planning committee is led by Dr. Campbell, and I'm sure Dr. Campbell and the committee will be calling on you all throughout the year as we continue to move our strategic plan forward, the goals and strategies that we have set for the institution. And, just the scripture that came to my mind, without vision, people perish. And we certainly hear all of you. We have a vision, and one of which is to increase our enrollment. And without that vision and without that goal, we would not be where we are today with the 6% increase. So we're going to stay on track, not only with that one, but enrollment, retention, public engagement, fundraising, all of the things that we have set out to do. We're going to continue to move forward with our strategic plan. And it is important this year and the coming years more so than ever, because we're gearing up for our SACS COC visit, our Southern Association of Colleges and Schools visit. That visit will occur in October of 2026. So in preparation for our visit, not only do we have the strategic plan that we're continuing to move forward, but there will be multiple tasks that must be completed. And I'm very pleased to say that our steering committee is being led by Dr. Kim Bove, and Kim also serves as the college's SACS COC liaison. So with regard to our SACS upcoming visit, we have a good leader who's leading the charge, and we also have a great team of steering committee members. So if you are on the SACS steering committee, I would ask if you would please stand so that your colleagues will see who you are and know what you're going to be engaged in over the next several months. If you're on the SACS steering committee, please stand. thank you all for the great work that lies ahead, and I know that TCC is going to go through our accreditation process with flying colors, I have no doubt. Also, we will continue to leverage our membership as an Achieving the Dream College. We were engaged with Achieving the Dream this past year, did some great work, and we look forward to keeping that work going with Achieving the Dream. And also, we are going to continue our work with the Association of College and University Educators, which is ACU. And I know that several faculty members have gone through some training, and I will say that as funds are available, we will continue to advance teaching excellence by using tools such as ACU and other means, as our Vice President for Academic Affairs and Chief Academic Officer advises us to do so. So we are so grateful that we will keep these initiatives going and look for other initiatives to continue to move the college forward. As president, my primary focus will be on securing external funding for all of our facilities that are in need of renovations. That's really number one on my priority list at this time, and that's for all 4 campuses. And of course, with a great leadership team, the President's Cabinet, I was able to do a little bit of that last year, but look forward to doing more this year. And that is to spend more time external to the college, focusing more on state and national issues, and particularly national issues, and state as well, but national issues given the potential for a change in the education landscape in the years ahead. So this morning, I'm excited to hear from our student readers. And I also look forward to our panel discussion. And I just want to say that, as you know, each year the college tends to host speakers from across the country during these convocation events. But we have many experts among us, board members. We have many experts among us right here in this room. And so I am pleased that the committee this year decided to engage our own faculty and staff to address critical issues in higher education. So I want to thank you, the committee, for doing that. And my intent as I wind down my remarks is to be very brief in order to allow ample time for the students and also for our panel discussion. But before I take my seat, I wanted to share, I just could not resist doing this. I want to share one highlight from my holiday break. So this happened the day after Christmas. And let me just say, there are so many backstories to this, but I'll just kind of give the high points. This was the day after Christmas, December 26th. So my husband and I took our 2 grandchildren, ages 2 and 8, to the movies to see the new Lion King movie, Mufasa. Has anyone seen Mufasa? It's a great movie. So one of the backstories is that, of course, their parents strategize a way to get the parents and the kids out of the house early on the day after Christmas so that they could sleep in and rest. That's one backstory. But so the movie started actually at 9:30 a.m., which was way too early. And let me just mention that the tickets for this movie were $25 each. Yes, the 3D version. So that's $25 times 4 tickets, for me, my husband, and the 2 kids, 1 8 and 1 2. So that's $100. So we get to the movie probably around 9:15 to get ready and to go in and see the show. And of course, during the movie, you have 30 minutes worth of advertising. So we were in the movies at 9:15. So by 10:15 a.m., the 8-year-old was asleep. John, can you show the picture, please? The 8-year-old was just knocked out. I mean, just dead asleep, just sleeping, snoring. And the 2-year-old had cut up so badly during the few minutes we were there. My husband, I said, give him your iPhone. So he had to give him his iPhone. Now, did I tell you all the tickets were $25? So that was my day after Christmas. We had to take our kids out. And of course, the parents, my son and daughter and their spouses, were at the house, kicked back, you know, drinking coffee or doing whatever they were doing. But we were out. You know, my husband looks like he was bored to death too, but thank you, John. Thank you for that. Thank you for showing the picture. But so I couldn't resist. I just couldn't resist showing you that picture. But anyway, during the movie, the characters sang a song. They sang many songs, but they sang one song that really stuck with me. And it was a song that included this proverb, which is an African proverb that we've all heard. And it simply says that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. So this morning, my TCC family, this is my charge to you. Let us continue to do the great work that we are doing by going together. Thank you all. And so at this time, I would like to welcome Professor Rick Alley and our 4 students to showcase their work. Thank you so much, Professor, for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Constant. This morning, 3 of my creative writing students are here to share some of their written works with you. They'll be reading poetry that they've composed for my creative writing class just this semester on the Chesapeake campus. All 4 students are TCC Arts and Humanities students, and we may see their work published in the upcoming channel marker, hopefully, TCC's Journal of Literary Works and Art as well. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Diana Barrientos, Charlie Key, and Dylan Yates.
Hi, my name is Diana Barrientos, and I am reading a poem named Flight. They say there are better days ahead, but where are they? I'm sitting alone in bed wondering why I can't move. Why am I incapable of brushing my teeth, eating, sleeping? I feel so alone. Everything is so overwhelming. I am digging my hole 6 feet deep. I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to see the light. But can I get out? Is there really a light? I feel like all my optimism is escaping my soul. I feel like I belong in bed to rot while the rest of the world is continuous living. Yet I see a glimmer of hope. As long as I keep breathing, I can fight these demons within, even if it's the last thing I do. Thank you.
My name is Charlie Key, and this is The Night in Which No One Died. The air at night is smoke in my lungs as I scale the roof after him. The mass of it broke all of my bones. In my head, his bones were buried already. The memory smoke on the wind, old caution tape around the ground that broke him. And on what earthly scale do I weigh enough to go after? The way I am, I have it, the masochist disease, all of his mass on me, buried deep and dense in my bones. I carried him home, after. He led the way out onto the roof, out into the smoke, sock feet sticking to shingles and slipping on broken window screens. My father screams, and the scale of it all doesn't hit me till I've scaled the peak, and I'm thinking, please don't jump, and it's massive, the leap. I'd surely be broken, so surely would he, and I've still got visions of bones on concrete almost one whole year after, but smoke doesn't keep. It rots and it smolders, the smoke in my lungs, and I cough up numbers from scales in the hundreds, and after my screening, they'll put me on pills, and the mass in my chest that is made of his soul gets all broken apart and digestible, and all the weight on my back only strengthens my bones. And oh, well, don't worry. There's no bones in the ground. The smoke has all cleared, nothing broke that I found. The scales are all even, the numbers are round. After all, stars only burn to mask the sky's face, and the scale of the smoke still floats into space, and space and I burn into all of my dreams. Broken bones in the dark are the master of me, but I'll carry my little brother home, after. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Dylan Yates. This free-form poem is called Depraved Kingdom. Guilty is the verdict, impartial is the hope, despair is the emotion, bleakness the reality. Hell is the landscape, demons are your peers. Freedom is a story, one with little truth. Small is the space, putrid the stench, guarded is the mindset, aggressive the actions. Justice is invisible, law is gum. Irrelevant are your feelings. Fate has been sown. Innocent is the fact. Sinners are the spinners. Holy are the outsiders. Saints in heaven. Fictitious are your dreams. The heart begins to accept. Trapped people are. Demons and saints alike. Thank you for your time.
That was truly wonderful. Thank you all so much for coming this morning. And Professor Alley, thank you for your continued work on Channel Marker and the TCC Literary Festival, and for inspiring such creative expression in your students. And students, you have made us all very proud. So let's give the students another round of applause. And now we'd like to invite some subject matter experts from the college community to participate in a panel moderated by Dr. Tiffany Sledge, Professor of Sociology. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Sledge and panelists. Panelists are Dr. Thomas Chapman, Student Affairs Representative, Mr. Cody Fleming, Workforce Solutions Representative, Dr. Jessica Lynham, an Academic Affairs Representative and TCC Professor of the Year, Mr. Thomas Stout, Academic Affairs Faculty Representative, and Mr. Ryan Crocker. We all please head up to the stage.
Good morning. Thank you, Sarah, for that introduction. We're going to dive right in consideration of our time. I know you like that, don't you? Being a student-ready college means designing our institution to meet students where they are and support their success. This approach requires creating an inclusive, welcoming environment enriched with resources, policies and practices that prioritize student needs. It encompasses academic support, mental health services, financial aid assistance, and fostering a sense of belonging for all students regardless of their backgrounds. As we reflect on this commitment, let's explore how TCC is putting these principles into action. Our first question is for you, Dr. Chapman. TCC is dedicated to meeting students where they are. Could you please share some of the specific programs and resources we currently offer to support student success?
Of course. But first, I want to say good morning to everyone. It's great to be here. So I have been here at TCC for about 17 years. And to think about the services and the resources that we have in place today compared to when I first started is just warming. To think that the students that come in our doors today have so many opportunities to be successful is great. So I wanted to lead in with that. And what I'm going to do is talk about a few services. First, I want to talk about the Open Door Project. How many of you are familiar with the Open Door Project? Open Door staff, are you here? And I also want to talk about the Student Resource Empowerment Center. How many of you know about the Student Resource Empowerment Center? Staff, are you in here? Great. So everybody likes a good story, especially a heartwarming story. So I want to share a story that will illustrate the transformative power of the resources that we have here. So I'm not going to use the student's name, but we're going to call him Leroy. Leroy reached out. He's an Open Door student. He was, because he's a graduate. He was in Open Door. He let Open Door know what his concerns were. He had 2 classes remaining. He had lost his financial aid, and he had been sapped twice. So he needed some money. So he reached out to the Open Door Project, connected him with the Student Resource Empowerment Center, and they have a comprehensive case management model in place that connects students with campus resources, college resources, community resources. So through the connection, we were able to give the student the money, provide him with the funds to take those last 2 classes. I went to an Open Door graduation luncheon about 3 weeks ago prior to graduation. And this gentleman stood up to give his testimony. And I had forgotten about what we did. But he stood up and he thanked us for helping him cross the finish line. I went to graduation and I saw him walk across the stage. So 2 classes we helped him. So that's an example of what we do here at TCC to help our students be successful. So some other resources include addressing food insecurity. We know that community college students are disproportionately affected by food insecurity compared to other students. So we have in place campus-based pantries. We have a mobile market that is on the Virginia Beach campus once a week, and we have a food box program. So it's great that we're doing that, but it's even greater that we're having an impact. Anthony was able to do some research on one of the unique programs that we have, the Food to Finish program. And what the data suggests is that students who receive food assistance perform better academically. And they also re-enroll at a higher rate. So kudos to Open Doors, Student Resource Empowerment Center for the work that you do. So last but not least, everybody knows that mental health affects all of us. I think there are about 60 million Americans that are impacted by mental health. We know that about 40% of college students are impacted by mental health. So what do we have here at TCC? We have timely care. That's not something that we had in place. So our students have the ability to access mental health support 24/7. They're allotted a number of sessions per academic year, and there are also unlimited resources that they can access through Timely Care. So that story, what I just shared, are just some of the examples of the resources that we have here at TCC to help our students be successful. So we are the bomb.com, as Emmanuel Chestnut used to say.
Most certainly. Thank you, Dr. Chapman. And we certainly have quite the robust set of wraparound resources for our students. But really quickly, I'd like to dig a little deeper. Okay. From your perspective, how do you think that faculty and staff can collaborate in order to make sure that students are more successful, as we're speaking of, as we think about being a college-ready institution?
So we are doing a lot here at TCC to assist with retention and student success. So one of the suggestions for making sure that we continue to do what we're doing is for student affairs to work more closely with faculty, meaning, for example, sharing the resources. And we work with a lot of faculty where we send them the information about all of our resources, and we ask them to, during the first weeks of class, share the resources with the students. Faculty, you have the students. They're a captive audience. So that is one way, and that's one of the ways that I try in my role as Dean of Student Support Services, is to make sure every semester faculty have the information so that they can share them with the students. Other things that, and we're doing this, we are collaborating, we're doing programming together. So that's another suggestion for how we can work together, meaning student affairs and faculty, to actually assist with retention and student success. I'm looking at Alicia Peoples. She's always coming up with all these different ideas for programming, and we do it together. Student affairs, academics, we did some wonderful programs on the Norfolk campus. So taking the resources to the classes and sharing it with the students, and also being creative. And I want to share something that I found in a Achieving the Dream article, and it's regarding this topic. And it says this here: while there has traditionally been a divide between academic affairs and student affairs that limits the role faculty and student support, the holistic support approach calls on institutions to transform culturally to improve the continuum of academic and non-academic student journeys. Institutions that have pursued this approach might institute high-touch academic and career advising, mentoring, boot camp learning models, and early college programs, some of the things that we're already doing.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Chapman. Dr. Lynham, I'd like to get a faculty perspective on this question, how we can collaborate with student services.
Sure, and I want to say I think Dr. Chapman said it beautifully when he talked about bringing student services directly into the classroom experience that way. And this can be as simple as foregrounding some of those touch points, the ones that maybe are most relevant or that really resonate with you in your Canvas course shell. Give it a snazzy title, give it something that is eye-catching and makes it relevant to what you're doing in your course. But another way that you might do this is through some project-based learning, which is something that this fall I reached out to folks in recruitment and Open Door to brainstorm some Spanish language content that my beginning Spanish students can contribute to their efforts. And for my enrollment and Open Door folks out here listening, thinking, I'm happy to say I'm getting ready to turn my students loose on that this spring. And so I think what that can do is really highlight and heighten students' awareness of the resources that are available to them, but it also helps them see how their course content is relevant beyond the classroom. A couple other things that come to mind in terms of faculty partnerships with student services is faculty and library partnerships to adopt open educational resources, because we know that OER brings down barriers in access, barriers in cost to the classroom materials and textbooks. And it also lets us tailor our course materials more closely to our students' needs. And then this might be an unpopular opinion, but faculty advising really shakes us out of the typical student-faculty relationship and gives us a bird's eye view of the institution. And it provides a window into our students' goals and their priorities and their challenges that they face in a way that doesn't always happen in the classroom, where the dynamic between students and faculty is different.
Thank you, Dr. Lynham. Now that we've explored how faculty and student services can collaborate in order to make sure that our students are more successful, let's shift to a very critical challenge that's impacting us all, the demographic and enrollment cliff. The 2027 enrollment cliff, stemming from the decline in birth rates during the 2008 Great Recession, presents a major challenge for higher education. With fewer college-age students, competition for enrollment will increase, prompting institutions to rethink strategies to attract and retain students. At TCC, this shift presents an opportunity to innovate our recruitment, partnerships, and retention efforts to ensure continued growth and community impact. Mr. Fleming, as we work to expand our student base, can you share examples of how Workforce Solutions and academics are collaborating to help our community earn more credentials to meet workforce demands?
Absolutely. One of the things that I would like to say first and foremost is really workforce and academic department have really been working very closely over the last year, particularly to really bridge the gap to make sure that we're collaborating between making sure our students are prepared for education as well as pursuing employment. And one of the key things that we have been working on is what we call credit for prior learning and really industry certifications. And so having opportunities for non-credit students to go into credit pathways. So working very closely and seamlessly to allow students to convert non-credit workforce training into academic credentials. And examples in fields like healthcare, information technology, and really in skilled trades, being able to evaluate, toward their courses toward degrees. And so currently we're doing a lot of that work in our Workforce Governance Committee. We work very closely with our academic deans, and we have really identified and laid out a true plan to help our students that are doing non-credit training to find a pathway into credit-bearing programs. And one of the things that we recognize is that many of our students do not even recognize that there's opportunities to take those non-credit courses and really transfer into credit-bearing programs. And so we've put together a whole pathway and a program that students will not only know and recognize that their program can actually be transitioned to a credit-bearing program, but also provide a smooth and a warm handoff for our non-credit students to go into our academic and credit programs. And so we're collaborating very closely with our academic deans, and really I want to give a shout out to all of our academic deans. You guys have been tremendous as we've been working together, and we've been looking across all of our pathways. So we're moving slowly but surely, and really one highlight that I would like to acknowledge is one of our first crosswalks is we looked at our medical billing and coding, and we found an opportunity for students to go into our health information management program, where we've identified between 5 to 7 credits that students can receive for getting their CBCS certification through medical billing and coding. So that is tremendous, because what that does, that allows our students to get that training, but it also decreases the amount of time that it will take them for completion of a certificate or associate's degree. So we're really excited about that, that collaboration and that partnership. In addition, one of the things that's really important to workforce is providing customized training for our employers. And so really partnering with our academic cohorts to do some co-curricular opportunities where we provide short-term training, and they provide, of course, the academic support for our students, but really meeting the needs of our industry. And we recognize that our industry has major shortages, and so we have identified some cool ways to partner together. And right now, we're working with Christina Long. This is just one example in our health professions pathway to look at providing advanced standing paramedic training for Norfolk Fire and Rescue. they've approached us and said, hey, we're interested in non-credit. So Christina and I are working hand in hand to try to figure out how can we work together to not only help our students get this non-credit training and go into a credit program, but also meet the demands of the industry and our employers and what they're looking for. So it's really hand in hand, and it really one hand washes the other. So that's one. And then the last thing I'll say is really some innovation that we've come out with, and I've been working very closely with Dean Deborah Dart, and we've come up with some tech boot camps and micro-credentials where students that are in any of the IT pathways, if they're looking at cybersecurity, A+ certifications, they have an opportunity to not only, they're already in credit-bearing programs, but come into workforce and do a boot camp to help them earn their credentials and certifications. So we have already, just this past semester, had about 6 or 7 students that have started that process who have completed credits toward their degree, but have come back into non-credit programs with workforce to actually earn that certification. So we're working very closely with our academic counterparts. This helps with retention. This is helping our students not only do work on the non-credit side, but the credit side of the house. And so we're supporting our students holistically, and it's a benefit to the whole college. So that's a few ways that we are being collaborative with our academic counterparts.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fleming. You mentioned quite a bit. So it's clear that Workforce Solutions, as we approach this cliff, is playing a crucial role in adapting these challenges by aligning education with industry needs in order to make sure that we're attracting non-traditional students, is what I heard. And so thank you for the work that you're doing in Workforce Solutions. I'd like to turn this question over to Mr. Stout and see if we can get a perspective from the academics side as it relates to this impending cliff that we're facing.
Okay, well, one of the things, we've got to meet the students where they're at, and we do have a very diverse group of students, especially in our career and technical programs. One of the things that we do, our electrical technology program, who's chaired by Professor Kavan Easley, he has the opportunity to award 14 credits for prior learning if a student brings us a journeyman certificate. And that gives them 25% towards completing the degree. And that allows them to move on and become their own business, run their own business, improve their marketability with their services and their abilities. So that's one of the areas. We look at our military, our veterans, and we take an opportunity to review their JSTs. Excuse me. And from that, we are able to award credit for their experience and training, which helps improve their opportunities there. And I think helping to meet that next part of the goal is with our dual enrollment programs. Our dual enrollment programs, we've got to stop thinking of them as just being, oh, we get an English credit, we get a math credit, and we transfer. We have many career and technical programs here today that have dual enrollment students. As a matter of fact, this afternoon I have 23 Chesapeake Public School students going to be on the campus for their regular classes. And they are going to be earning a certificate. And the opportunity, one of the best things we've had this last year is we had 8 of the seniors convert over and move into the actual degree plan from the dual enrollment program. So those are some things that we're doing to help kind of bridge that divide.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stout, and thank you for your comment on helping us expand our thinking around dual enrollment students, certainly. Just to dig a bit deeper, beyond recruitment, what strategies, because we know that we're attracting students, we're seeking to attract students, and so we can get them in the door, but how do we close that door to make sure that they're remaining with us? So are there any strategies that we can implement to improve student retention and success? And you did mention a couple of things, but do you have any additional advice or guidance for us as it relates to retaining students?
Well, we just got to remember they are our students. We are the front line with them. We're the ones that speak to them every day. We're the ones that they come to. Example, last week I had a student who's an apprentice with Smithfield Foods, and he was having a hard time getting his organization to get his class squared away. So he texted me. Within 24 hours, I was able to get that connected here, and he's enrolled. and his do not drop is on there so that he will be able to get into his class. And I really appreciate our team. We have an outstanding team when it comes to apprenticeship, and we are expanding our apprenticeship opportunities, and it's something I've worked with for years. And apprenticeship is one of those opportunities for our employers to be able to grow their own. They're not getting the employees that they used to, so they've had to take and adapt to growing their own from within. But taking care of our students, we're the front line as faculty.
Thank you, Professor Stout. Dr. Chapman, would you like to share your perspectives as it relates to student affairs and how we can best retain students?
Yes. So Dr. Constant has already mentioned, we have done a lot of great things here at Tidewater Community College, and we continue to do a lot of great things. So as I thought about all the great things from our first year program to the mentorship programs that we have to some of the work that the student centers are doing for student engagement, some of the financial literacy things that we're doing. We have partnerships with Truist Bank where they come in and do financial literacy workshops. I know we're doing some digital literacy training. The acronym that came to me was B, B-E-E. Build, expand, and explore. So I think for us, because we're doing a lot of cutting edge things, we need to take what we're doing and build upon it. We also need to expand. For example, if we're doing one thing on one campus, and I know there's a big push, and Dr. Campbell's always saying, you're doing it on this campus, you got to do it on that campus. So if we're doing it in one place, we need to do it in other places. So all these great programs that we're doing, and we're moving in that direction. So based on the research, we just need to expand to make sure that we're doing everything for the most students as possible. And then explore. We're doing that. Dr. Constant mentioned something in her presentation about, sharing the work that we do. And I know Jennifer's office, Dr. Snyder's office, always pushing for us to seek out opportunities. So I believe that is going to be the way that we continue to support retention and continue to be the cutting edge and make sure that in these times when, it is challenging to get students to enroll, that we be on the cutting edge to make sure that we are retaining the students that we get, because that's important. And retention is also improved. So those are some of the things that I think that we can do is build, expand, and what's the last one? Explore. Okay, y'all were listening.
All righty. Everybody's listening. So several things stood out. Thank you all so much. So as we kind of pull this together, taking ownership definitely stood out. Connections are key. We want to make sure these are our students, as Professor Stout shared with us. These are our students, so we want to make those connections with our students. Culture of care definitely stood out, and also matriculating to completion, making sure that we're not just attracting our students, but we're making sure that we're providing all of these services to ensure that we're ushering our students toward a successful completion of their programs. All righty, are we ready? Everybody's ready? Just say you're ready. You don't know what you're ready for, but you're ready, right? Right. All right. We're going to shift to a very important topic, arguably one of the most hot-button topics in education today. What is it? Ding, ding, ding. Artificial intelligence. So, artificial intelligence, or AI, is transforming education, offering both opportunities and challenges for institutions and educators. As we embrace this technology, it is essential to explore how AI can enhance learning while addressing concerns around ethics, data privacy, and equitable access. And I'll speak a little later about several of the tools that we have available right here at TCC. We're actually ahead of the game as it relates to trying to address artificial intelligence. Are you all aware of the AI module that's loaded into Canvas? Yeah, most people are nodding. If you're not, please make sure that you take advantage and avail yourselves of that shameless plug for the AI module. I happen to be on the AI task force, and we've been doing quite a bit of work as it relates to not just standing up that module, but making sure that we're ensuring that that module is chock full of information, not just for students in terms of helping students to learn how to use AI responsibly, but also making sure that faculty have the resources that we need in order to make sure that we're able to help the students utilize that particular technology. Alrighty, into our questions. Mr. Fleming, I'd like to pose this first question to you. How can institutions leverage AI to improve productivity in academic settings, such as automating administrative tasks or enhancing personalized learning experiences, while ensuring that ethical considerations, data privacy, and equitable access? Again, we want to make sure that all students have access, all faculty and staff have access to this technology. So making sure that equitable access is not compromised.
Absolutely. So as we've all discussed, we know AI is certainly, one of those hot button topics where we have some that are really for it and some that are truly not necessarily comfortable with utilizing AI. But as I think about workforce and what we have been doing in terms of utilizing AI, we're really on the beginning stages on that. But one of the things that we recognize is that getting our students training, their occupational specific training, is probably most primary with workforce. However, we recognize, and we've heard this from a lot of our employers, that soft skills are critically important for our students' success and helping them to go into any of the industries. So yeah, we're training them specific to their occupation, but those soft skills are critically important. And we want to make sure that our students know how to communicate, that they are aware of how to work well with one another, and that they are a part of what is happening with society. So with this AI trend, we want to make sure that our students have access and basically are tapped in and plugged into the modernization of what AI is capable of. And so with workforce, one of the things that we are doing first and foremost is we're looking at, as we're preparing our students for employment, we are utilizing AI to help with resume building and career planning. And so this is really essential because, as I mentioned, this is really critical to our student success. As they are transitioning out of our programs, we want to make sure that they can market themselves, and they're utilizing AI to help them build out their resumes and really crafting their responses. And this tool, this tool is really accessible to all of our students. All of our students have access to, Microsoft Copilot, internally. And so making sure that we expose our students to it is one of the most critical things that we've been able to do. And so we've been doing a lot of career planning and preparation for our students to transition into the workforce. And we understand that, really AI and using these strategies are, as I mentioned, people have angst in using it. But we all really need to take a look at every pathway, regardless of what pathway that you are working in. You might want to take a look at how you can, use AI in your industry to leverage, how this tool is working and how it can benefit our students as they are transitioning into the workforce. One of the things that I recognize as well is that when we think about how AI can be used administratively, it has been a great tool for many of us as we are doing grants and reporting. It allows a lot of capabilities for our staff to be more efficient. So our staff are getting comfortable utilizing it because we recognize that it saves us time, but it also helps us, it can help us formalize our thoughts, and then we go in and actually do the work to not only make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do, but we're providing resources for our students and utilizing this AI tool. So we understand that it can, cause some anxiety for folks, and it's really transforming the way that we teach in our classrooms. And we understand that, it really also really refocuses how we think about our learning outcomes for our students. So AI is just really one of those hot topic buttons, but in workforce, we're really slowly introducing it to our students. We're making sure that as they transition out, they have access, they understand what AI is, and so that way it can be beneficial to them as they're transitioning into the workforce.
Thank you, Mr. Fleming. Mr. Stout, speaking of how we utilize AI in the classroom, how are you currently integrating AI into your educational and instructional practices? Can you give us a few examples?
Okay. Well, I started studying electricity, electronics, robotics over 45 years ago. And one of the first books I bought was How to Build Your Own Mobile AI Robot. And I will tell you that AI today is not like that 45-year-old book. I still have it on my shelf. It was all about circuits and wiring. But today, the AI is not that. What we see is these chatbots that we enter a prompt into, and we get some kind of response. And with any computer, a garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't have a good prompt, you're not going to get a good response. And we can't just rely on them to ask for something, get it back, and not put our own effort into it. One of the things that I talk to my students about is I created a little statement that I put in my Canvas shell, and I talk to my students about how we're at the community college. We're building a foundation for your learning, and can AI be used? Yes, but like I tell students, I don't pay you for what you can look up on your cell phone. I pay you for what you have up here and what you know. And so you've got to build that foundation. Now, AI can be a resource and a tool that you can use to support that. But if you don't know if it's giving you a good answer, they talk about hallucination and all that stuff. If you don't know the answers, right? And if you're using AI, you've got to check its response. Just don't go in and ask for a prompt, ask for a quiz. I mean, I did a quiz this week. I asked for a 10-question quiz on fluid power. And it came back, and I didn't bother to tell it to give it English units. So it came back with SI units. So instead of pounds, inches, and PSI, it gave me newtons and pascals, and that was kind of not where I was going with that quiz. So you've got to pay attention to these prompts. And you've got to realize students are going to use these tools. So we've got to revise and rethink the assignments that we're using. The old pen and paper, write up a little report. Got to get away from that in some aspects. I took the AI course that we had this last summer, and I got some really good information from it. One of them that I think about is they were talking about an assignment where instead of having the student just write a report, have the student go out and interview people. And that way you can build on that knowledge instead of just a input-output kind of activity. The other thing was having the student use AI. And from using the AI, give them a prompt and let them enter the prompt, and then them review what the chatbot or the AI response was and critique it and even maybe try to improve it. So it's integrating the tool, not just saying, no, we can't have this. I will tell you this, last spring, one of my students came to me and said, why aren't you using AI? And because I was leery, trust me, computers are prone to fail you when you need them the most. So, you can't rely on a system totally. You still have to be the person in the middle. But he showed me how we generated a test. And the test would have been one that I could have given for the class we were in. So using that as a study resource was very helpful for him. So my thinking has been changed over AI. I still don't trust computers. Because anything built by man is prone to fail. So, but there is a lot of opportunity, and we've got to, I'm not going to tell you you need to embrace it because we all have our own little thoughts on it, but don't disregard it and definitely take a look at it. Work with your students to figure out how you can better your class and better their education through using it.
Thank you, Professor Stout. And that's a really good segue into our next topic on instructional strategies. But I would be remiss if I did not, again, mention our Center for Teaching Excellence. There are a lot of really excellent resources. There'll be and also the Learning Institute is starting, right? And you should have received that information today. Please make sure that you avail yourselves of all of these resources. And one of the things that you'll find in our Center for Teaching Excellence is I guess a little assistance with respect to how you utilize AI in the classroom. I know that many of us are kind of digging our heels in, and we may be a little scared and a little resistant. And there's this AI detector, or we refer to it as an indicator. I like that we are so affirmative here at TCC. We don't like to call it an AI detector. We call it an AI indicator. But one of the things that we have to understand is that many students, especially your students who may not have access to resources, may not be able to access those paid or subscription services. And so it will unfairly penalize students who may not be as affluent as some other students who can afford those paid services where the AI is virtually undetectable. At the same time, we want to recognize that we have those indicators in place kind of as guardrails. And so, again, the Center for Teaching Excellence can kind of help you navigate the very fierce waters of AI and trying to help students try and understand how to use AI more effectively. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program. That was my, my shameless, segue or a plug for our Center for Teaching Excellence, which does, they're just doing some awesome work for us. Now, Dr. Lynham, instructional strategies. Innovation in teaching is at the heart of providing a transformative educational experience for students. By experimenting with new strategies, we not only engage learners more effectively, but also adapt to their diverse needs and modalities. Beyond AI, I know you're still thinking AI, what are some innovative teaching strategies you've implemented with positive results? Could you describe the strategy, its outcome, and how it might be adapted to other disciplines or modalities?
Well, I hate to disappoint you because you're asking for beyond AI, but we can't unring the bell, right? And I think I actually like the framing of this question a lot because AI has definitely catapulted us into this new paradigm, right? Where it's really compelling us to reevaluate what we ask our students to do and why. I see the sort of age of artificial intelligence as an invitation and a challenge to ensure that everything that we ask students to do is very purposeful. Now that we have some of these AI tools, arguably it's easier now than at any time that any of us has been teaching for students to deliver an excellent final product, an excellent final output. And so how I see us responding to that is that we have to make sure that we're centering the knowledge-generating process. And when I say that we're centering it, that we need to center it, I think it's something that we need to actively assess. And we need to include opportunities for self-reflection. I think similar to what Mr. Stout was talking about doing with his students, where they have to critique the AI product that they get back, and where they have to go out and interview. That centers the human, right? The human interactions and helps develop some of the soft skills that Mr. Fleming was talking about. Something that I've been doing for a while now is giving students practical challenges. They still call it a test. They're like, how'd I do on the test? I'm like, well, it was a practical challenge. They're like, really though? But, but I like to frame, instead of traditional tests where I create a little, wish list of items that I want students to be able to show me that they can do, I instead have them spend weeks honing individual composite skills that would have appeared on one of those traditional tests at the service of a larger practical task that mirrors a real-world active communication. For anyone who doesn't know, my discipline is Spanish. So an example might be that I'll tell my second semester students, okay, in 3 weeks, you're gonna write a Yelp review for a restaurant. And in the meantime, we're gonna learn food vocabulary and we're gonna work on conjugating verbs in the past tense, right? And that increased student engagement. I could tell that it was an assignment that they enjoyed doing and they could sink their teeth into, but what really, really brought it all together was something that I added later, which is that I started explicitly and routinely asking my students and placing the onus on them to connect the dots between the component skills, the individual language skills, and the broader task. So they had to tell me, Well, in a restaurant review, I'm going to have to say where I went, what I ordered, how it tasted, and in order to do that, I'm going to have to be able to use verbs in the past tense. And ever since I placed that responsibility on the student side of the house, I've really seen a pronounced increase in both the quality of their work and the authenticity of their work, their willingness to take risks, their willingness to show me their mistakes. And I also ask them routinely, how did it go? How did you do? What went well? What was hard? And in so doing, they have that reflective piece where they have to really self-assess how they're coming along in the subject matter. And their final exam also includes a self-assessment. And the word that comes up time and time again on those self-assessments in their final exam is confident. Over and over, they tell me how much more confident they are in their abilities to express themselves in Spanish, which is really the whole ballgame, right? So I think that the connective tissue of why am I doing this, right? Developing a sense of purpose in the activity is crucial. Because not only do my students attain the tools, but they also know that they have the tools. They are able to demonstrate that they have the tools. They're aware of the tools that they're using, and they're aware of which tools are appropriate for which task. And I think the beauty of that is that it's not specific to a given modality or a specific discipline or subject matter. It's just working backward from a purposeful challenge and placing the expectation that students will not only demonstrate how they met that challenge, but also reflect on how it went. What were the ups and downs of meeting that challenge?
Thank you, Dr. Lynham. Mr. Fleming, your response.
Yes, so one of the things that I think has been really cool and innovative that has happened in some of our workforce training is what I would consider a flipped classroom for workforce training. And so we offer boot camps or basically empowerment sessions for our students that are starting courses, and more particularly for our healthcare and our IT courses. And really this has been very, very beneficial because students, they have access to instructors, they have access to the lectures, they have access to demonstrations, instructional videos, even prior to actually starting any coursework. And so this is truly important for a lot of the adult learners that we're working with who may not have been in the classroom in several years. And so what it does, it really helps to reduce the angst and anxiety that a lot of our students have prior to starting a course. It maximizes the classroom time for skill development and practical application. And these boot camps have really been beneficial. Really some of the outcomes, we have seen a tremendous growth in completion. We took a look at a couple of our medical healthcare courses, and we saw about a 40 to 45% increase in completion for students that participated in boot camp that went in those boot camp classes prior to the start of their actual course. And so we know that this works. It gives our students that confidence that they need to be successful, and these students are earning their certifications as well. So that's one really innovative way that many of our students are receiving this instruction. And we have boot camp instructors that work with the students about 4 days before the start of their class. They're working with them like three hours a day during those boot camp sessions, and they have activities and modules that they have to complete. And so we've really seen that this has been truly beneficial. This can actually be adopted into any sector. So, we look at it as I talk about healthcare and IT, but it can also be adapted in skilled trades and business programs and other modalities as well. And of course, in workforce, one of the cool things is really being able to offer short-term, stackable micro-credentials. This has been really important, really in our areas of IT, as well as healthcare, and most importantly, our skilled trades. And students able to stack those credentials really in a short amount of time and earn those certifications toward their degree. Of course, we've seen the outcomes because many of those students are getting employed right away, but employers are sending them back for additional certifications. And so we're retaining students They're stacking, they're coming getting level 1, 2, and level 3 of welding certifications. So it's making them more employable. It's actually giving them a higher rate of pay in their jobs. And so this has been, truly, truly beneficial for a lot of our students. Of course, this can be highly adaptable in the academic setting as well. And so, providing students with the incremental recognition and those skills throughout their degree pathway. And then, of course, like I said, it can be applied across multiple sectors. And so really, thinking about just some of the innovative things that we're doing, the teaching strategies, enhancing the learning, improving retention, and aligning with the workforce needs. And so we understand that many of our students, the good thing about the short-term training, our employers need our students to get to work. So they're coming in and they're getting those certifications, but then they're sending them back to do short-term training to continue to skill up. So that has been very beneficial for our students as well as for our employers. So we're making everybody happy. And so this is one of the, a couple of the innovative ways that we have been working with our students and with our employers to make our students more successful.
Thank you, Mr. Fleming. And one concluding yet important question, and you're the anchor leg, Dr. Chapman. What strategies should TCC consider to ensure that all students have equitable access to the technology and resources needed for their own success?
I'm going to say the word that Anthony loves, data. And I know everybody loves data. But really, we need to let data drive our programming and what we do. And in student affairs, we do a few surveys every semester. And one that we do that's relevant is a needs assessment at the beginning of the semester, where we are asking students what they need, from whether it's a food insecurity need, technology need. So that's going to be really big and critical for us to keep our hand on the pulse and to always know what the students need. So after that, then we have to figure out, do we have the resources to provide, for example, hotspots, laptops, so on and so forth. So that would be the thing, to continue doing what we're doing, which is when students come in, determine what their needs are so we know what the core competencies are as it relates to technology. We have those, we use that to design the survey so that we know exactly what students need as it relates to the competencies. So I think we're going to build upon what we're already doing and make sure that we, even if we can't provide the resources, we at least know what we need to do. And another thing that came up in the research in terms of moving forward is to make sure that we are continuing to leverage partnerships with community agencies, state agencies, and we're doing that. So I think as we move forward, that's what we're going to have to continue to do to be the great place that we are.
Thank you, Dr. Chapman. And I'd like to, in conclusion, thank you, Mr. Fleming. Thank you, Dr. Lynham. Thank you, Dr. Chapman. And thank you, Mr. Stout, for an engaging and insightful discussion. Your perspectives on being a student-ready institution, navigating the encroaching challenges of the enrollment cliff, embracing, everybody say embracing, let me see those arms, embracing AI, that's right, we're embracing AI, and helping students to understand how to utilize AI ethically as a tool, and also innovation in teaching. All of these discussions have provided us with invaluable insights and actionable ideas. These conversations are critical as we navigate the evolving landscape of higher education. I also want to thank our colleagues for your time and your attention. We certainly appreciate you, and we wish you well as we start off an excellent spring semester here at Tidewater Community College. Thank you again for your time, colleagues.
Thank you again, Dr. Sledge and the rest of the panel. And now we'll break for 15 minutes, after which we'll have reports from various college-wide initiatives, beginning with the strategic planning update from Dr. Karen Campbell. So I will see you all back here at about 10:42. So enjoy your break.
I know it's a wonderful time for us to get together and be able to talk to one another, especially after the holiday break. But you will have time to do that after the program and while you eat your lunch. And so I want to spend a few minutes just giving you a brief update about our strategic plan. So I will give everyone a few more seconds to get settled. Can you hear me in the back? Can you hear me now? Sometimes they say if your voice is deeper, you can hear. All right, so let's get started. So today I'm very pleased to provide you with an update related to our strategic plan. I want to take the opportunity for those of you who are new to actually share a brief history. Then I'll talk about where we are today. We have some really key achievements that you will be excited to hear. I will talk about our timeline and then ways that you can actually contribute. And so I'm looking forward to making sure that you provide us with your feedback as well. So in April of 2021, there was a Strategic Planning, Management, and Coordination Committee. And this committee's goal was to really ensure that the strategic plan remains an active document. Dr. Constant was adamant about ensuring that this plan did not just sit on a shelf and we did not pay attention to it for the next 5 years. We wanted to make sure that the college community was engaged with Innovate 2026 and that we were present and able to articulate our strategic goals as we pursued the strategic plan. So this committee's work, it was comprised of 24 people, and there were 4 work groups who actually worked through the strategic plan. Each work group had specific responsibilities. What has happened is that now that we're halfway through Innovate 2026, several of the original committee members are no longer here at the college, and we have also been given the charge to make sure that our current strategic plan aligns with Accelerate Opportunity, which is the VCCS strategic plan. So since that is our new charge, we have a new committee. And so our strategic planning steering committee members, are you here today? If you're here today, please stand up because you're doing such a wonderful job, and it is a lot of work, a lot of work. So thank you. Thank you all for this work. So 11 members, we have been meeting monthly, and now we will actually begin to meet more regularly because of the charge that we are getting ready to focus on. And I will take you through our charges so you understand the work that we are doing. So these are the 3 charges, and I'm going to take a brief moment to take you through each one so that you know where we are as a college. So our first charge is to review the previous committee's work and to ensure that all of those goals and strategies have been addressed. And we had a work group actually review the efforts of the previous committee and found that most of those strategies have actually been addressed. For those of you who are not aware, this is a snapshot of the original timeline that was developed. This was given to PC members. So under every strategic direction, there were several strategies that needed to be implemented. And we did the work. You did the work. And so we discovered that we have completed, or we are in the process of completing 89% of the strategies. Only 7 strategies need to be reevaluated. There is salad, so I'm gonna say it again. 89% of the strategies. And so this was a tremendous work and a heavy lift. I want to thank AVP London and Alejandra Diaz Ronhell for leading the charge to make sure we took a look at what we have already accomplished. So thank you all for doing this work. What we did discover as we're looking at what we did accomplish is that we are acknowledging that we do not have key metrics assigned to each of the strategic directions or the strategies. So we are going to engage in that work now. And what I mean by that is you can see here on the screen, so for strategic direction number 1, that is enrollment growth. So we know that we've grown enrollment, but we didn't have a metric assigned to that strategy for accountability reasons. So we are going to work with IE. Anthony's in the room, so I'm saying it publicly, Anthony. We will be partnering with you to make sure that we have metrics for our strategies, for accountability, so that we can say these are the 89% of the strategies we've completed, and this is how we know that we have completed those particular strategies. So charge 2 is to review Innovate 2026 to identify areas for improved alignment with Accelerate Opportunity. So Dr. Kim Bovey has already led a work group that examined both Innovate 2026 and Accelerate Opportunity to determine the areas that could benefit from being aligned. They did this work. Are you in here? The work group that worked with Dr. Kim Bovey? This was a heavy lift as well, so thank you for your work. And they made the recommendations to our committee. We are taking a look at those recommendations, and we will make sure that we use them as we move forward. But as we move forward, we also want to take a look at our charge 3. So this is where we are today. And that is to consider expanding the scope of Innovate 2026 as needed, including creating a new timeline. And so this is where you can help us do this work. We need to know what is missing from our current strategic plan. And as I've stated, Dr. Bovey's alignment work group has done some of the work to ensure that we're aligning with Accelerate Opportunity, but we also want to know what is currently missing from our strategic plan. So we will have focus groups, we will have surveys if needed, but we're hoping we can get the feedback we need from focus groups. In order for us to have good information, we need you to participate. So we received some of this information in an initial feedback, from an Achieving the Dream session in October. It was great information that you shared with us. We're going to use that. We're going to use the recommendations from Dr. Bovey's work group, and then we're going to collect additional information from you through the focus group. So when you hear the call, please answer, because we want to make sure that this includes all of your feedback as well. So, quick overview so that everyone understands where we are with our strategic plan and where we are going. We have reviewed the work of the previous committee and will assign metrics to the strategic directions and strategies. We will incorporate recommendations from the alignment work group to help revise the current strategic plan. And additionally, we will utilize your feedback gathered through focus groups and potential surveys to identify any gaps that are in the plan. This is our current timeline. Our goal is to complete most of this work by mid-April. We will compile all of the information and present a draft to President's Cabinet for review, and then we will share the final strategic plan with the entire college community. We will also make sure to identify a communication plan as we're going forward, so you will know how we are implementing the new strategic plan here at the college in the coming years. So I want to thank you for all of the work. 89% of the strategies have been implemented that would not have happened without the good work that you do every day. So thank you so much for your work. Thank you for your attention, and welcome to the spring semester. And now please join me in welcoming Dr. Kim Bovey, who will discuss our upcoming SACS reaffirmation process.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Can you hear me in the back? All right. All right, so I'm going to give you very quickly a couple of, you all have seen me up here for the last couple years. I'm always talking about SACS COC. You know we're coming up on our 10-year reaffirmation, so I want to quickly give you an update on the work that has occurred and the work that will continue occurring. All right, so first of all, a really piece of good news. We applied in the fall for something called a differentiated review, and if a college or an institution is in good standing with SACS COC and can demonstrate that, you can apply for, and we were granted the ability to do a differentiated review. What that means is, instead of responding to all 75 standards, we only have to respond to 35. That's huge. Now, let me be clear, the other standards that we don't have to respond to, we still have to meet, but we don't have to write the narratives for them. The ones that we do are most of the core requirements, so we have to be very careful about those, but this is a huge, huge accomplishment that occurred this fall, so I'm happy to share that with you. There is a large SACS COC steering committee. I think it's almost 40 people. It covers a lot of folks. Dr. Constant already had those folks stand up, but that group is doing a lot of work. They've worked through the fall. I'm going to go a little bit about that. In December, a group of those, subgroup of those went to the SACS COC annual meeting where TCC's official 10-year review was kicked off because we are the class of 2027. We are currently beginning and getting ready to stand up 2 subcommittees. One that we're referring to as a hospitality or an on-site review, and that will be the group that helps organize and really help through having our SACS COC on-site committee visit. They will go to all of our campuses. They will interview many faculty, staff, and students, and they will also visit most or a large number of our off-campus instructional sites. So this is going to be a big project to coordinate this work. And there also, another subcommittee is going to be specifically addressing and making sure that our off-campus instructional sites, whether there are high schools or other institutions or areas, are ready for those visits. So it's a lot of coordination that those 2 groups are going to be working on. Meanwhile, the divisions of our college are already, they've been working on auditing and outlining each of the standards that we do have to push forward. All of the divisions are working with a writing team and their own group of experts and writers to create outlines and do audits on handbooks, policies, the website, et cetera, to make sure that we are cleaning all our corners and making sure that we're good to go. Just so you know, all of those outlines were complete this fall, and in the next 6 to 7 to 8 months, we'll be working on drafting those, and the complete drafts of all of the narratives are due this September, at which point we'll begin working on combining them all, smoothing them out, making sure they cross-reference each other correctly, and making sure that all our evidence and our documentation providing with our narratives is all functioning. All right, so let's little bit on the quality enhancement plan. So a lot of work has occurred this fall. The QEP topic and data sharing kicked off last fall under the leadership of Steve Litherland and Dr. Kia Hardy. I want to thank you for their work. They went around and did quite a roadshow of data looking at student success and our student achievement data, and they followed that up with the QEP survey that many of you did participate in, so thank you for that. That then launched into a data consensus team under the leadership of Mr. Massera and Stacy Deputy. They've been working together with some of the coaches from Achieve the Dream and some other data and looking at the survey results, the student achievement data that work with Achieve the Dream, and they are also conducting focus groups. There's been a number of focus groups done with faculty, staff, and administrators, and that we are working on finalizing that with some focus groups with students this January. And then we are bringing in a consultant to help kind of gather all that information together. And they are doing a brief, essentially a SWOT analysis of potential topics, looking at all of this information and presenting a couple of these to President's Cabinet, and they will make the final determination of what our QEP topic will look like. At that point, a new committee, depending on what that topic is, a new internal committee will be launched probably in the February timeframe, and that group will really bring all our internal experts together at the college to really flesh out the plan, the outcomes, the assessment, the student learning, all the budget, what kind of infrastructure needs to be put forward, and that work will occur over this next year. All right, so important dates. In February of 2026, about a year from now, our compliance certificate with our narratives and documentation for all of the standards that we're required to respond to will be due. Prior to that, in November and December, our SAC-COC Vice President, Dr. Denise Young, will come to the institution and do a 2-day visit where she will help us review, look at what we've done, answer any questions. So this is a really great opportunity for us to make sure that that compliance document is as clean as possible. Summer of 2026, if we have to provide any further information, so that compliance document will be read by an off-site team from SAC-COC. If they determine that they need some more information, we have the opportunity to provide that. That will be due next summer, or summer of 2026. And then in August of 2026, the QEP is due. So when that group starts this February, they have a little over a year to really complete what usually ends up to be about a 100-page plan and to really get all the details worked out. That will then go to the off-site team. Prior to them visiting, they will look at our compliance document, they'll look at what the off-site team wrote, they'll look at our focus report, and they'll look at our QEP, and then these are the dates they're coming. These were confirmed in December by the VP. We will have the SAC-COC on-site team here October 19th through 22. October 19th, they will probably be visiting, breaking into teams and visiting our off-campus instructional sites. So there'll be a lot of moving parts that Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, they will be going around to all of our campuses and interviewing many of the people in this room, asking questions, finding out about the QEP, spending a lot of time on making sure that we are a successful institution. Remember that that on-site team comes here not to terrify, but to verify and clarify. And it's really important that we remember that. We should not be afraid of this. We should welcome them because they're going to help us make sure that our QEP is strong. All right, so that's all I have. I want to introduce Anthony Macera, who's going to give you an enrollment report. Thank you.
All right, if you were here this past fall when we met for convocation, sorry, okay. If you were here this past fall, we met for convocation, you may remember we talked about how we'd had a very successful summer, and it looked like we're going to have a very successful fall with regard to enrollment. So I'm going to give you the final numbers for the fall, and then we'll take a look also at what the current spring is doing. Now, a few minutes ago, Dr. Constant kind of stole my thunder when she talked about the fall semester. But that's fine, because as the leader of this college, she deserves the thunder. And you all deserve the thunder. So I want you to give yourselves a round of applause for, for the largest fall enrollment increase since 2009. And then a few other highlights for the fall. We had an overall headcount increase of 6.1%, and overall FTEs increased 5.0%. Our returning students increased 4.7%, so we were bringing back the students that were previously here, which is a great thing. We want to keep them here and help them finish. The new transferring students increased by 13.1%. Now, we had one downturn, and that was our FTIC students. That decreased 5.7%. It didn't start out that way. It actually looked like we were going to have an increase. But we lost a lot of students, especially for the late 10-week session that didn't have the money to pay the tuition. So it really reiterates what we talked about the importance of financial aid and letting our students know what resources are available for them. Because these were students that they had an interest here, they applied here, but then they weren't able to come up with the money in time to pay for the class. So that is one thing that we need to work on, because we can't grow long-term without increasing our FTIC students. And our college transfer program students increased slightly. Our creative technical program students increased quite a bit more, which shows you the trend that we've been entering, where students are moving towards the career technical programs more so than the college transfer programs. And our dual enrollment students increased 19.1%. So you can see what a large influence that was on our overall enrollment. So overall, it was a great semester. We just need to watch the FTIC students and work on that in the coming months. So now we'll take a look at what we currently have for the spring semester as of today. And we compare this to what it was last year at this time. So I'm going to present the numbers, and then I'll give you a little caveat. So overall, headcount right now is up 7.6% for the spring. So spring's looking good, just like the fall, spring's looking good. It looks like we're continuing on with the momentum. Overall FTE is up 4.8%. The fall to spring retention rate is up 2.3 percentage points. So we're retaining students a little better than we were last year at this time. Now, one thing I want to mention to you is that I expect these numbers to actually increase a little bit by the end of the week. And that's because when we compare ourselves to last year at this time, a year ago today, we had another enrollment backout where students who hadn't paid were removed from classes. And so the resulting numbers are going to make us look even a little bit better this week than the numbers that I'm giving you right now, which are the numbers I have as of today. So I expect these to go up a little bit before the semester actually starts. Our online FTEs are up 7.4%. We've seen a continuation of the growth of online even after the pandemic. Now our FDIC students, we are down currently, 26.4%. Now that'll probably look a little bit better later this week, but still, you know, it's down right now, so we need to really pay attention to that because even though we're up overall for the spring, we can't continue this momentum unless we really get those FDIC students and keep them. Our career technical program students are up 4.8%. Again, that's where a lot of our growth is coming from, as well as our dual enrollment students, who are up 29.1%. So dual enrollment's going really well. And our workforce, non-credit students, are up 29.3% for the fiscal year. So overall, it looks like we're continuing on with that enrollment increase. We just need to make sure we pay attention to those FTI students. So that is a challenge for this coming year. Thank you. And now I will, let's see, we'll go to the cabinet updates, and I believe Dr. Michelle Woodhouse will address it.
She's back. Before I start my remarks, I want to say thank you to TCC, to Dr. Constant, to the faculty, to the staff for all of the love, the support, the cards, the gifts, and everything that you sent me during my time away from TCC. I am so thankful, and I am so blessed to have you as my family. And I thank you so much for the love that you showed me. Thank you. I wasn't sure that I'd be back here on this and doing this, but I'm here, and I'm happy, and I'm blessed. So, we've got a couple of changes that we have made due to some people transferring to additional jobs, and I just want to recognize some of the changes first. Dr. Siobhan Harris has taken on the role of serving as the Interim Associate Vice President for Academics, and I want to thank her so much for taking on this role, Dr. Harris. I also want to recognize Donald Liebert, English faculty who has come over to the dark side and is now happy to serve as the Interim Pathway Dean for Manufacturing and Transportation. Dean Liebert, if you're here, if you could please stand. I know you're somewhere. There he is. He had his first leadership team meeting with me yesterday, and he probably went home with a whole lot of headaches. So we are very happy that you are here to take on this role, and I know that that pathway is very happy to have you as well. Also, we have an interim apprenticeship director, and that is Liz Sleeper, and if she is here, she's also from the English faculty. I'd ask that she stand as we recognize her and thank her for taking on this role. It's Liz Sleeper. And last but least, we want to thank Dr. Abakbe, who for 2 years has overseen 2 pathways, math and science, and the manufacturing and transportation area. He has done a phenomenal job, but now he's going to get to focus on his pathway, which he's really had to juggle with so many other responsibilities. And I want to thank Dr. Abakbe for all of the great work that he has done, as well as he here. I don't see him, but we want to give him some love as well. What we want to talk about now is some of the new initiatives. And as I sit here and I listen to all of the wonderful things that are going on, what's more important and what I'm so happy about is as I went out, many of the things that were in play, they continued with great success. The reason they continued with great success is really due to Dr. Jennifer Snyder, and I want to acknowledge her for all of the great work that she did. Please stand. You know, this was a very unexpected turn for me, but Dr. Snyder, you came in, and as I always say, you rock. You did a phenomenal job, and I thank you. Achieving the Dream was one of the initiatives that we were working on. It's dedicated to putting things together to support academics, and how we are using it is to support our SACS reaffirmation. Back in 2011 was probably the last time that we were a part of Achieving the Dream, and we were really doing some good work, and we were really looking at data. But Dr. Constant really saw the need that we needed to rejoin so that we could really help and focus on retention, persistence, dual enrollment, and some of those key areas. And what they're doing is they're helping us with our QEP to make sure that the data is driving the correct decisions and the way that we need to go. On October 24th and 25th, we had a visit by the team. This was actually wonderful, a wonderful visit. They spent time going through our data, looking at our strategic plan, and really giving us an outline on next steps and things that we need to focus on so that we can build the most effective QEP. You heard Dr. Bovee talk about the roadshow. I think that Kia and Steve Litherland were doing. This is very, very important, and this is why this engagement with Achieving the Dream will help drive to make sure that we produce a quality, like Dr. Bovee said, 100-page document, and that we choose the right QEP that fits the institution and that we can actually deliver on. We have a history sometimes of going too grand on the QEP, but we're going to nail it this time, and we want to get it just right. And the interaction and the engagement with ATD is why it's so important to do this. We also are very, very focused on the Association of College and University Educators, a new initiative that was started before I went out. And really, this is working with best practices, helping our faculty learn new ways to engage and to do AI. You heard Tom Stout talk about what he learned in one of the AI courses that we offered this summer. AI is here. There are so many things and pedagogies that we want to learn and we want to share. And what it does is it delivers the best quality courses, pathways, and certifications to help our faculty impact student success. The areas that we focus on in AQ are creating a productive online learning environment, promoting active learning, inquiring with and preparing lifelong learners, and designing learner-centered centers. And so that's also our courses. That's also very, very important. What I'm happy about is we had 34 faculty to participate in the first round of classes. And you see this breakdown. This is on top of serving on committees, teaching your classes, having an overload, but you were committed to doing this. And I want to recognize and I want to acknowledge and thank the faculty for doing this. Thank you so much. That's right. So as I continue, there were new programs that we've been working on as well. But before I talk about the new programs, I want to acknowledge dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is up 29%. We have grown dual enrollment since Dr. Constant got here in 2020, some 50%. We continue to grow. We continue to work with those schools, and that is because of you, the faculty who are offering the classes, who are teaching, who are working with these high school students, and because of my awesome deans who are making sure that we are delivering these courses. This is great work. And every semester, with every school system that we work with, we are starting new classes, we are starting new pathways, because this is what they want. And they recognize the value of being involved with the community college, saving funds, getting those credits before they transfer on to the 4-year. So if you're here from dual enrollment, I want to acknowledge you, and I want to thank you for the great work that you are doing as well. Many of you all are familiar with Transfer Virginia, and as of Transfer Virginia, we have a timeline where we can implement new programs and new degrees. The new programs that that the faculty are working on this year is our Associate of Arts in Liberal Arts, the Associate of Arts in Communication. So the first one is focused on theater, the second one is focused on communication, and the third one is focused on social work. This doesn't happen if faculty is not at the table, is not engaged in the meetings, and making sure that we are doing what we are supposed to do as prescribed by the VCCS to make sure that we deliver quality transfer programs that will matriculate to the four-year institutions and help our students be successful. We have done science, we have done education, and we continue to build on all of our programs so that we are delivering quality transfer programs. We are really excited, and for the faculty who worked on these programs, I want to again say thank you for the great work that you're doing. The Learning Institute. You heard somebody mentioned the Learning Institute. It's here. But I want to remind you, the Learning Institute started really in about 2008. I was a dean. And if you've been here, the first Learning Institute, does anybody remember where it was? Portsmouth campus. Yes, it was. This is a long-time program that we have morphed and developed into something big that we now deliver college-wide. Is our #1 professional development activity for our faculty and our staff who participate to ensure that we are preparing all of you to work very closely with our students and people that we engage with. The development tracks that we are focused on this year are concepts and experiences in teaching and learning, tools in teaching and learning, and initiatives and projects across the college. We do many formats. You will remember we used to have a whole day for the Learning Institute, and we go all day and we have speakers. But what we have learned, and this is really just probably one of the impacts of COVID, is that you all like to do it over the course of doing many, many sessions over the course of 2 months. We deliver them in person and online. And I'm always happy to say we have over probably 350 participants every year that participate in our Learning Institute. So I'm very excited about that. It will go from January the 27th to March 1st, 2025. So this is another important activity that we are focused on in the academic affairs. And again, I just shared some of the topics: AI integration, DEI, active learning, digital badges. I see a lot of times in your signatures when you email me, I see your digital badges. These are important things, and again, we're very excited that you continue to participate. And you also should have received a 4-page handout today that kind of just shows you the layout and the sessions that we will be offering. I want to take this time to really acknowledge the faculty for some of the great things that you are doing. Things don't happen. Our students are not successful, but they are because of you. And Tom Stout said it best, you're front line. Okay? And I think it's important that we acknowledge and we share some of the great works that you are doing. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge Sarah DeCalagero. Sarah, of course, is our Faculty Senate Chair and is a longtime faculty member and professor here at Tidewater Community College. But as you heard Dr. Constant mention, she was elected to the Norfolk School Board, and we were able to participate in her swearing in yesterday. But what has happened is because she is so awesome, she was elected to be chair of the Norfolk School Board. And we want to acknowledge Sarah for being elected as the chair of the Norfolk School Board. That's right. After a long hiatus, Study Abroad is back. And that's right, that deserves some love. We used to do a lot of international travel and study abroad, and Dr. Gabriella Toletti came to me early in the summer, and she wanted to do this program in Spain, and we are making this happen. Is Dr. Toletti here today? If you see her, thank her, because we will have students who will travel to Spain and will participate in an immersive 2-week summer experience, and we are very, very excited about that. That's right. I also want to recognize Professor Kimberly Lee, who was among the TCC faculty who received recognition for her participation in Gear Up, which stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs, which is a partnership with the State Council of Education. If Dr. Lee is here, would you please stand? There she is. Thank you. Sergey Dogovy successfully completed the design of art of artificial intelligence at Mosley University. Again, it's showing faculty are engaged. We're getting into AI, and we are excited. If you could please stand if you're here. Sergey, are you here? No, we're going to keep on going. And I know this person is here. Renee Hossein-Eleni and Dr. Andrea Polisamo participated in a panel presenting creating a culture of inclusion and belongingness in the classroom at New Horizons. We want to recognize them as well. If you're here, if you could please stand. That's right. Jennifer Rouse and Nancy Prather-Johnson received recognition as an award honorees at the 2024 Sister Leaders Conference in October of 2024, and we would like to recognize them for their accomplishment and their award. Could you please stand? Thank you. Dr. Constant mentioned our LPN pinning ceremony, but I want to talk a little bit about it. We are so excited that we now have a track for students, a pathway from CNA to LPN to RN. We have been trying to do this for years. We made it happen, and I am very, very excited. I would like to acknowledge first the Dean, Dr. Deborah Hartman, for her great work in making this happen. Dr. Hartman, the Dean of the Health Professions. And I also would like to recognize Lisa Prather-Bentecourt also for her great work and what she has done to bring this to fruition. She came in, she wrote this program, she got it all together, she got the curriculum done, we did the state approvals, and we got the students. And we had our first pinning ceremony. It was the first thing I was able to attend upon returning in December. Is Lisa Bentecourt here? There she is. Thank you for your hard work. Dean Nancy Prather-Johnson has received the award of Administrator of the Year. Let's give her some love. This award recognizes an outstanding administrator who has demonstrated exceptional leadership, dedication, and commitment to Tidewater Community College. We're excited to be able to give these awards to recognize our faculty, our administrators, and our staff for the great work that they are doing. And Nancy, we are very proud of you, and we acknowledge you for your great work that you are doing as well. Next is our Tech Talent Investment Pipeline grant that we have. This is a 20-year grant that we have. We're on year 15 now. It's going, as we count down, we're counting down from 15. And this grant is under the leadership of Nancy Prather-Johnson and Cassandra Small. And one of the things that we were committed to doing was creating a STEM camp, which focused on computer assembly, repair, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity. I am so excited to share that we delivered this excellent camp this summer. We had over 45 participants, and I want to acknowledge them for doing the great work to make sure that we're delivering STEM to high school students so that they can come in, learn about STEM, and learn about all of the great work and the programs that we offer here at Tidewater Community College. Cassandra Small, if you are here, could you please stand? And of course, Dean Prather-Johnson. I thank you. I will emphasize we had middle school students and high school students. They are interested, they want to come, they want to learn, and this is another way to segue these great students right here to Tidewater Community College. We also just received our National Centers of academic excellence in cybersecurity. And I want to recognize Dean Deborah Dart and Joel Kirsch for the great work that they have done to bring this to fruition. This was a lot of work, a lot of going back and forth, a lot of writing, a lot of making sure that we had our ducks in a row to make sure that we were delivering a quality cybersecurity program, and we were happy to be awarded this fall. If Dean Dart and Joel Kirsch could please stand, I'd like to recognize you for the great work. We are designated through academic year 2029, and I'm very excited about this. I want to say to our faculty and staff, we do so many great things. And you heard Dr. Constant with the charge on the Bellwether Award. We're going to pursue that because we need to tell our story about the great work, the great research, the great programs, the great initiatives that we are doing in academics. I want to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Sorry. It was going too good. Thank you. Dean Hardiman.
Let's see, can you hear me? I'm very froggy today. Michelle, I feel you right now. Don't forget your glasses. I had hoped to do a solo with the band, but I don't think it's going to work out today for me or for Michelle. But thank you so much for the opportunity to come and present to you all updates in the area of finance and facilities. I'm always so thrilled to share some of the great work that's going on in this area. And I think Michelle took the clicker. Did you take the clicker? I might get to sing after all. Here we go. Did you see Chris run? That was great. I'm thrilled to share with you some of the things that are going on this year in the area of finance and facilities, starting with some promotions that we've had in our department in the course of this year. Some of these happened earlier in the year, but you heard Tania Legrand's name mentioned earlier. Hopefully Tania's still here. Tania was promoted this year, there she is, she waved at me, to the Director of Financial Aid for the college, and as you can tell, she's already doing an excellent job. This also happens to be Tania's birthday, so there we go. So if you have a chance, give Tania a pinch on the arm, keep it clean, just on the arm. A birthday pinch is due. So congratulations to Tania. Also congratulations to John Thorberg. John has served as the Portsmouth business manager for a very long time, and he was promoted this year to be the senior business manager and then moved over to the Virginia Beach campus. So congratulations to John. He's already doing an excellent job, and we're so happy to have him there. And then finally, last but not least, we have Felicia Stevens. Many of you know Felicia, who served as the cashier supervisor at the Norfolk campus for quite a while. And Felicia this year was promoted to the Portsmouth campus business manager. She's doing an excellent job, and again, we're so happy to have her at the Portsmouth business office. All right, and we've had the good fortune to hire some very quality individuals all across finance and facilities. I'm not gonna go over everyone, but it's a great list of individuals to join our team and our family. And so if you see them, please welcome them as they've come to the college, joined us as part of the TCC family, and will hopefully be here for a great long time with us. All right, I'd like to, of course, in the area of finance and facilities, we are primarily, as you may know, a support organization. We work collaboratively with different departments across the college. So the cabinet hopefully you realize works really well together. I love my colleagues, and we have a great relationship, opportunity to work together. But then also, that goes down to the staff. So the staff work really well together, and through that collaboration and through that work, we're able to accomplish many things. And so I'm not going to read all of these to you, but I'll just quickly go through some of them. As you may know, we were able to relocate the Norfolk campus bookstore this year from the mall over to the Student Center. If you haven't been by there, it's a beautiful space. We have Chick-fil-A at the Portsmouth campus this year. We have several grants that we've been able to perform audits on and done a great job. We've also been able to do some more secure banking transactions. These are the things that are behind the scenes that people don't get to see, but it's obviously very important as fraud is just so prevalent. You heard Dr. Constant highlight and mention the financial aid numbers earlier in terms of what's been processed, but I can't reiterate enough what a heavy lift and load that has been for the financial aid department. So many thanks to them. Of course, our material management folks do a great job. I know many of you probably have them on speed dial and call them regularly, and they are professionals and do what they do. We did support the opening of the Skilled Trades Academy, Unit 5, and I'm sure Art's going to talk about that. The Navy Community College has been a big lift on the accounting department in particular. The Roper feasibility study, which has just kicked off, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. But we did go ahead and get the contracts in place and work through so that we could get that prioritized in the system. And many LED projects that have gone on across the campus, honestly, too many to name, but changing out that LED lighting is obviously a cost savings, but it also enhances the look and appeal of our campuses. And then we've managed to work on many ADA projects, Americans with Disabilities Act projects. So a lot of great work going on across the college, a lot of great staff bringing their expertise to bear in these areas, and so happy to be able to celebrate and share with you all some of the things that they've done. This next year, we have many initiatives. Apparently, we're going to be pursuing the Bellwether Award, if you haven't heard. In addition to the Bellwether Award, I look forward to receiving acknowledgement on that. In addition to that, in advance, we do have plans in place to open the Norfolk campus cafe spaces. And so I know that's something that's been a long time coming, but I want you to know that things are in the works to make that happen in this year. In fact, I'm surprised that there have been some delays that have delayed it, but it will happen this year. We are in process, actually, of replacing the roof on the past building, something that's been a long time coming here at the Chesapeake campus. And so we have a lot of projects going on. That's a roof project that's been kind of pending for a while now. I've talked before about this $8 million ADA project, specifically targeting the Virginia Beach campus and the Norfolk campus. Some of the work has actually already been done across the campuses, internal by our staff, but then there are other activities that have just really started to kick off. You're going to see a lot of, we'll call it disruption at the Virginia Beach campus, parking lot, sidewalks, and some of the exterior work that's going to be happening. And so this is mandated, frankly, by the federal government, but it's something that's been definitely needed and a long time coming. We are working, our facilities folks are working with academics to support and open the child care center at the Virginia Beach campus. So yeah, that's great. Go ahead and clap. So you all know that we're open in Norfolk and we're open in Portsmouth, and it's so exciting to see the kids there. Virginia Beach, we know, is going to be a hit. It's all, historically speaking, been, we'll call it the biggest seller, so to speak, the most attended, and so we know this is going to be a great thing as well for the community as well as the students. We are, hopefully you all know that we participate in what's called the Community College Workforce Cooperative. It's otherwise known, affectionately known as the CCWC, and TCC, so it's a partnership between TCC, Paul DeCamp, and Virginia Peninsula Community College with dealing with workforce and skilled trades in particular. TCC is actually the fiscal agent for the CCWC, and honestly, it's grown by leaps and bounds faster than we ever expected it to. And so, which is a great thing. I'm not lamenting that that's a bad thing. But what we need to do is put in the accounting processes and procedures to fully support it so that we can start to see some of the data that we need in order to report on it correctly and the way it should be supported. And I noticed a typo last night as I was reviewing my PowerPoint. It says initiate and implement the college-wide master plan. I don't certainly plan to implement a 10-year master plan to get all the work done in 1 year, but what that means is simply that we hope to finalize our master plan in this year. So we'll be working on that throughout the course of this year, finalize the plan, and of course a college-wide master plan, which by the way, this will be the first time we've ever had a college-wide master plan. Historically speaking, we do campus master plans. So we've decided to eat the elephant in all one gulp. And we think that makes a lot of sense because as we become one college, right, and we haven't heard that term in a long time, but as we are one college, it's important that we're looking strategically at what our facilities needs are across the entire college, not just looking at one isolated campus at a time. But as we move forward with our planning, I just want to reiterate that, we hope to finalize the document this year, but a college-wide master plan is a living, breathing document. So it's something that as we develop it, we will look to evaluate it every year based on our needs and continue to modify it accordingly. But it gives us a guideline to move with and to work in that direction. And I was thrilled to hear Dr. Constance say she's going to be working on getting us lots of money to build buildings and do what we need to do for our facilities. So I love how our president is just in alignment with the things that are going on. And more importantly, we're trying to be in alignment with her. We're trying to keep up with her, honestly. If you're not aware of, the Suffolk site is about to undergo a great deal of work related to HRSD. So HRSD, Hampton Roads Sanitation District, is going to be building some Swiftwell sites on the Suffolk site. And so we're going to be supporting that from the facilities perspective. And so what you may see, or what you will see rather, is in the very near future, we're going to be moving the entrance to the Suffolk site to another location. So if you go to the Suffolk site regularly, or if you haven't been in a long time, when you do go, don't be surprised if you get redirected another direction. And that is to support essentially the pipes and underground wells that they're going to be putting in place. We think that project will take up to a year, but we also think there's another project on the horizon with HRSD not far behind that. So timeline TBD, but we do, from a facilities perspective, plan to support that, of course. And then finally, initiate the implementation of student financial planning. And so I just want to share with you what that is. So I'm lucky to have such a talented group of financial aid professionals, and I'm lucky that they're still here because as I mentioned earlier, we put them through a lot this year with the FAFSA Simplification Act. But student financial planning is a new financial aid module, essentially. And this will be the college's, the VCS, frankly, VCCS's first entrance into the cloud in terms of our ERP systems. And so this software, we're not just doing it just to get in the cloud, but the software is intended to do a couple of things. Number one, it is supposed to be much more student-friendly. So if you've ever looked at the financial aid screens for students, it could be better. I think it could be presented better to the students, and this will do that in a more clear way, make the options more available for students. It will also help guide them with some of their decisions. We really want students to take advantage of the grants that we offer and take advantage of the loans in as much as they need them, not in as much as it's available, if that makes sense. And so we want to help them do financial aid planning, and that's essentially one of the other things that this tool will do. The tool will also significantly improve and help the back office processing, and what that means is faster financial aid results for students. So all the data says that if students know faster that they're going to get financial aid from us versus from another college, then they're more likely to choose us. So we see this as a all-around option that will help our students, but it will be a big lift. We are one of 5 pilot colleges. My southern accent came out there. We are one of 5 pilot colleges that will be embracing this tool. And as I said, it will be a big lift on our financial aid staff, but we think in the long run, it's going to help the students, it's going to help the staff, and ultimately, that's what we're here for. Finally, I just obviously want to wish you all a great 2025. It's certainly been a cold one so far, and you all know I pride myself on being the weather girl, so let me just share some information with you this weekend, which hopefully you're already aware. If you're paying attention, you know, we're expecting a nor'easter on Friday evening, followed by or in conjunction with snow and some freezing rain. So, excuse me, use this as my official permission for you to put on your pajamas and your bunny slippers on Friday and to keep them on until Monday. Get your crock pot out and enjoy some football and some old movies and really just stay inside and be safe. Be safe this weekend, be safe all year, and have a great year. Thank you so much. Now it's my pleasure to bring up a woman who needs no introduction, bring up Ms. Beth Lundy, AVP for HR.
I just want to close out and say thank you. I'm now back to normal, and I want to introduce Vice President Hardeman, Vice President for Finance and Facilities. Thank you.
VP Hardeman really needed no introduction, right? So as the Chief Human Resource Officer, I do feel it is my obligation to say, please do not pinch Tania. Happy birthday, Tania, but please do not pinch Tania on the arm or anywhere, VP Hardeman. Just felt that I needed to clarify that. So I do have three updates this morning that I'd like to share. And the first has to do with our 2025 holiday schedule. The Cabinet did approve the 2025 holiday schedule in December, and this year's schedule is now posted on Inside TCC on the Office of Human Resources department page. We're currently working with marketing to get it updated on the HR page of the website under the faculty and staff resources, and we anticipate that that will be done soon. What's new for this year is that the college will be closed on Veterans Day. This will allow us to participate in the many celebrations and events to honor all veterans. And I will say that between 7% and 8% of our faculty and staff are veterans. So this is great. And just to alleviate any concern, we do typically bank that Veterans Day holiday and apply it to the December holiday break. But this year, the governor has granted an extra holiday on December 26, so observing the Veterans Day holiday in November will not impact the college being closed the week between Christmas and the New Year's Day holidays. Okay, this topic is a little heavier. There's a policy update that came out right before our December holiday break. And so we in the Office of Human Resources did not have a lot of lead time on this, but the Department of Human Resource Management has updated policy 1.60, Standards of Conduct, effective January 1. And the new policy is applied for incidents on and after January 1, and the policy is posted on the DHRM webpage. The updated policy requires employees to notify their supervisor and HR, agency HR, of criminal charges and convictions within 3 business days, and establishes that supervisors are accountable for communicating with agency HR to report an employee's criminal charges or convictions. Now, before we all panic, criminal offenses, and actually we shouldn't panic because to be honest with you, we have very, very little of this. But criminal offenses shall not include traffic or other charges that are specifically differentiated and exempted from statutory criminal offenses. However, DUI, or other formal charges that impact an employee's ability to drive a vehicle or could result in incarceration if convicted shall be considered criminal charges. Like all other personal and confidential information that is entrusted to us in the Office of Human Resources, we will treat this information with the utmost care and confidentiality. And as Gloria Redden in our office said the other day when we were discussing this policy update, if you don't do anything, you don't have to report anything. So this came about, this reporting of convictions and things. So some of you may be aware of this and remember, this was several governors ago, but when an employee is convicted of a felony for misconduct associated with the performance of job duties, a forfeiture of all VRS-related benefits may be applicable. Agencies must notify VRS of these convictions and follow the VRS procedures for these determinations. But sometimes it can take a while for these situations to play out, convictions and things. There are delays, continuances, and if there's turnover in agencies, it could easily happen that the requirement to report to VRS is missed or forgotten. And it actually happened recently with another agency, and I believe, not us, but I believe that's why this policy has been updated with some of these changes. So. The agency also, as part of this policy update, the agency must conduct an administrative investigation and notify the employee of the agency's intent to administer formal disciplinary actions up to and including termination based upon the facts or evidence of conduct that prompted the criminal investigation or process. The agency's administrative investigation must be completed within 90 calendar days, barring any extenuating circumstances. And management may immediately remove an employee from the workplace without providing advance notification when the employee is under investigation for alleged criminal conduct that is impactful to the employee's performance of job duties or the agency's critical mission activities. Depending on the nature of the criminal charges, reassignment may occur if the agency can identify a placement that does not jeopardize the investigation or create liability for the Commonwealth. And finally, the policy update also clarifies that classified employee performance concerns should be addressed via the Performance Planning and Evaluation Policy, Policy 1.40. If performance is the reason that formal disciplinary action is being taken, then employees must be provided a written notice of the offenses and deficiencies and given a minimum of 1 full business day to respond. A notice of improvement needed is no longer sufficient by itself to take disciplinary action. All right, and now moving to a little lighter topic. So those of you who are in the hybrid retirement plan, the VRS's hybrid retirement plan, and have that hybrid plan employer match, or those who participate in the Commonwealth's Deferred Compensation 457 plan and have the cash match through that. If you have any one or all of those plans, the record keeper for the defined contribution plan has transitioned from Mission Square to Voya Financial. And if you have one of those accounts, you'll need to visit the DCP site and register your accounts. One registration works for all the accounts, so once you register, you have access to, if you have multiple accounts with that plan, with those plans. So you have access to all the same investment options you had before. Your beneficiary designations should have transferred over, so when you register and access your accounts, double check your beneficiary information to make sure it's accurate. Mission Square will mail your final statement this month. You'll get your first Voya statement in April, and you can opt for e-delivery of those statements. You'll have access to your historical plan information on the Mission Square retirement website for 6 months. There are still a few participant transition meetings scheduled for tomorrow through next Thursday, so if you want to learn more about Voya, about plan enhancements, new tools and resources that are available now through Voya, or schedule an appointment with a DC plan education specialist, You can register for the meetings or get more information about the defined contribution plan through the website, through the DCP website, which you can access through the Virginia Retirement System. Please reach out to Gloria Redden in our office if you have any questions or need assistance with that particular benefit or really any of the employee benefits. And those are my updates. And so up next is VP Bryant from Institutional Advancement. Thank you.
Tania, we share today. Birthday twinsies. You can't pinch me either. None of you. So with that said, I guess that cat's out of the bag. I will say that there is cake following lunch, and we'll just say it's for us, Tania, you and I, right? It's celebration cake. And I think celebration will even be played, so it'll be good. With that being said, Dr. Constant stepped up and said she's been here for 5 years, and we all rejoiced. Nobody ever doubted that for a moment. I've been here for almost 3 years, and all of you have doubted that every moment. But we're almost at 3 years, and I'm telling you what, we keep getting better because of great leadership, because of great vision, and I gotta tell you, our story resonates. This is our time to shine, our place in the sun. Dr. Woodhouse said a moment ago that we have to tell our story, and my goodness, we are gonna do that. So let me also say that in Dr. Constant's picture, I don't know if you saw this or not, but her husband, Clydell, was on the end. He was wearing a fancy jacket. It was very, very nice to know that we've got international travelers that are spreading the brand of Tidewater Community College. And I did want to remind you that there are so many ways that we can share our TCC proud and our pride that I hope that you'll take an opportunity from our leadership, knowing that we practice it on a daily basis, and we want you to continue to be our best referral sources and our best advocates all the time. So today I actually come to you in a very, very nice, sweet place right after the holidays. I come to you with a sense of gratitude. And I want you to know that I'm so grateful for every one of you for what you do on a daily basis for our students. And we heard some great stories this morning. We heard some great music this morning. Our students are eager to make their lives a better place, to provide for the next generation and to be someone that they can be proud of, and their kids can be proud of, and their parents can be proud of. You get a chance to make that reality every day, and I'm very, very happy. The last time I stood before you here, I read Tara's story, and I will tell you, there are so many Taras out there that we get to help daily, and so I want to say thank you to that. But I have to tell you that the world is a very tough place, and I don't believe that any of you are shocked when I say that. Now, I'd be remiss if I did not acknowledge that today is a day of mourning and a day of prayer for our past president, Jimmy Carter. And I will have to tell you, he was my first president. He was inaugurated just, I guess, 10 days after I was born. But with that being said, wherever you fall on the political spectrum, what I think we can all agree with is that he was such a human of love and faith and dedication. And I gotta tell you, we wanna tip the hat to Jimmy Carter today for the legacy that he's bestowed on all of us. And today, in just a few hours, that ceremony will happen in Washington, D.C. I did want to choose a quote for today, and I chose it from him. And this is a quote that he gave just a couple of years ago at a PBS station. And you heard this morning, one of our students, Dayona, she said that she had hope. And so that reminded me of this quote from Jimmy Carter, our past president. And it says, "Sometimes I'm fearful, and sometimes I'm hopeful. But overwhelmingly, I'm more hopeful. I have confidence in the basic integrity of the American people." And so on this day, I want to acknowledge to you that I too am incredibly hopeful for what we get to do, because what we do is significant. You can't just blow it off. What we do in the classroom, what we do to support those that are in the classroom, and what we do to open doors for our students is an impeccable life. And so I hope that we can all model our lives after that leader and know that, as Dr. Constant has told us, we can certainly do better together. Now, let me take a few moments to brag on my team because they're fantastic. I have an amazing team, most of which are standing right over there on the side. I want to tell you some of the highlights from this past year, and then I want to give you a nod to what's coming up in the near future. First of all, you know that in institutional advancement, and if you're new, we have marketing and communications, and we have the educational foundation. Together, we're the voice of the college, and we're also the fundraisers of the college. And we are excellent at what we do, and the reason that we're excellent is because, one, we have great experience, and two, we have a wonderful story to tell. That's one of the things that I need your help with. You need to continue to invite our team to where those stories are happening. You need to continue to share those stories of the Terras and others that we can share externally and with the world. We certainly need your help to do that. Now, on marketing and communications, there is no better leader than having Naima Ford as the mouthpiece for this college. She has a tremendous team. She has a spirit and energy, a passion, a vibe that is just second to none, and we're glad that she leads that team. The college has afforded us many resources, and I say thanks to this table in particular because what we have to do is very expensive. And we couldn't do it without the leadership of Dr. Constan and VP Hardiman. The resources that we have, like the resources we all have, has to be mighty because we always want more. And with that being said, oftentimes we each find ourselves doing more with the same. Growth is a fantastic thing. And I think we all understand that we wanted to grow our student population. And we're excited about that, right? That comes with more students and more bills and more needs and more education, more instruction, more equipment, all the things that we have to do and provide more of when we grow. And so we all find ourselves charging together ahead, knowing that we need to raise more. And so with what we can do in public relations, what we can do with our paid advertising, what we can do on social media, our earned advertising, our press releases, our press conferences, the things that we do to share our story is very powerful. And so we're glad to have those resources to do that. And we also know that we need more, we need to reach more. Your word of mouth, your advocacy, your storytelling is paramount to our success. So continue to help us and lead us in that way. If you're a Hamilton fan, the Broadway show Hamilton, I guess I've now talked about two presidents in one speech. With that being said, if you're a Hamilton fan, it talks about being in the room where it happens. I want to say thank you to many of you because as you saw from Dr. Woodhouse's remarks, there are a lot of things happening within our college community and we are engaged. We are engaged and we are in the room where it happens, so keep that up. And know that there are many, many other rooms that we don't have influence in, and we need to be at that table. So continue to open those doors. Our board members do that for us very well, and we're grateful. We have to extend ourselves through our volunteers and through our families and through our students, so let's continue to do that. Thank you for connecting us to the right people. Thank you for engaging with those civic organizations, and thank you so much for bringing us along with you. We're not gonna do this alone. Right? We have to do it with you, so thank you so much. What we do in the next couple of months has a lot to do with our legislative agenda, and our Chair McCollum was with us, and so thank you so much, Kim, for being here. She helps lead AVP Lundy and myself as we bring the public to us and then take our story to our elected officials. We just had a wonderful legislative luncheon at the Skilled Trades Academy and got to show them our expansion. That was a great time. We now, over the next month, will go to our Hill Day in Richmond. We will tell our stories. We will office hop. We will be introduced on the Senate floor. And Dr. Constan's leadership will ring true as she told you that a lot of her focus is outside the boundaries of our college regionally, but it affects everything that happens here internally. So those external relations and public relations and government relations is a big part of what we do in institutional advancement over the next month. It will be a pretty intense 30 to 60 days as we go to receptions and visit with our legislators and we see those pieces, those articles, those bills created that will help our college. Now, fundraising. I have to tell you that Dr. Constant talked about fundraising and my ears perked up because she is a tremendous fundraiser. She's a good coach to me. I consider myself pretty savvy at the fundraising thing, and together, there's nobody that we can't shake down. There's not a person, an industry, a corporation that she and I can't go to and ask for help. Lynn, I'm sorry. It's philanthropic. It's philanthropic, right? It's so much, it's so fun to tell our story to ensure that people can connect with the relation of what we are. And so when you have a donor and you find out their values and what they're interested in, their goals, and then you have this wonderful product is making sure people get a better life and a better job, you align those together and it becomes a wonderful thing, and that's where we are. I want to tell you that we have really three priorities, and you've heard me say this before. I know this group has heard it ad nauseum. There's three things that we raise money for in the Educational Foundation. One is scholarships. And Ariel Taylor, is Ariel in the room? Ariel does a wonderful job in ensuring that we give away near $500,000 a year in scholarship support, and so that's a big deal, right? And so scholarships is the number one thing that we raise money for. There's nothing bigger or better than that. Getting students in the classroom or in the lab is our number one goal. So raising money for scholarships is our priority number one. Number two is retention or emergency funds, which means keeping a student engaged. We know that our average student is 25 years old. Our students come with families. They come with jobs. 65% of our students are part-time. They're out there working, they're out there living life, and we need to make sure that our students are taken care of. I've heard it said many times by others like Dr. Natali and Dr. Chapman that sometimes our students are only a flat tire away from dropping out of class. We can never allow that to happen. And with leaders like those, we don't let that happen. And so we need to continue to raise more funds for emergency funds to ensure that our students have the resources that they need. And then lastly, it's the growth of the college. And that's one of the things that Dr. Constant and I have mentioned quite a bit today is that we want to see the college to continue to grow, but to do that, we have to continue to bring in the dough. So with that being said, there are lots of funds that we've got to tap into to make sure that our college has the resources. It's a heavy burden to bear. But this table, this leadership, and I know each of you are willing to do, then I appreciate that. A lot of what we do is external, the events that we have. Donna Henderson does a great job of taking care of our events and helping out with things like today, but really big events and celebrations that we have, the grand openings. This year, one of the most remarkable things we did is we had the naming ceremony on the Virginia Beach campus for Dr. Deborah DeCurci. And so, Donna, thank you for your leadership in events, and we are grateful for what you did. That event was tremendous. And lastly, as I wrap up, there is no greater charge for us, and I think every one of us has had this thought or this mentality, is we have nearly 200,000 alumni in this with and I say this area because 82% of our alum stay right here, rooted in this area, which is a great fact. But with that being said, our alumni network is something to behold. And Jennifer Wilkinson is now going to be leading our charge. We want to have regular engagement with our alumni. We want to have newsletters and social media and videos. We have monthly events. And so Jen is very capable and has a big task of bringing those folks and being engaged with our college and using their resources for our students. We all know that that's an untapped resource and one that we'll need your help with. Now, this is the last thing that I'll say because you all know that a couple of years ago we introduced this little sticker thing right here, and on the back of it has the QR code, and an alum, when they get this, all they have to do is answer 4 questions. First name, last name, email, decade you were at TCC. That's all the information we need. Those 4 things, and it allows them to get on our network that we can invite them to events. Now, even yesterday, Dr. Constant, Dr. Woodhouse, Dr. Campbell, myself, we went to see the swearing in for Sarah, and while we were there, Sarah brought another council member right over to me, one of the other school board members, and said, "This is an alumni," and Dr. Constant was the first thing I did. I grabbed my phone, I grabbed that sticker, and I slapped it down. I was like, "You've got to join our network." This is the only way we're going to expand. I need your help. keep opening doors, keep being leaders, keep being in the right room where it happens, and I promise you that what we've done in the past 3 years will only grow to support our students more. Someone that needs no introduction is the next speaker, who every time she touches a basketball, it's nothing but net. Dr. Karen Campbell. She's like, who? Nothing but net.
Thank you so much, VP Bryant. I was a track runner, not necessarily a basketball player. Height issue. Okay, I ask, please just be patient with us. We have 2 more presentations, that's all, but a lot of good updates to still provide for you. So I want to start first with some, not new faces, not necessarily, there's one new face, but some new positions here at the college. So Dr. Kia Hardy is now the Associate Vice President for Student Success. I see you, Dr. Hardy. First day on the job, Dr. Thomas Hollins, our new Dean of Advising and Virginia Beach Campus Dean. Please stand so everyone can see you. And I'm sure all of you know Meredith Pollard. She will be supporting Dr. Hollins as our new Associate Dean of Advising. But that's not all. We also have in the room with us, if you don't know him, our new Director of Athletics and Intramural Sports, Chad Smith. Can you please stand? He has done a tremendous work, which I'll talk about on our next slide, which includes hiring coaches for our new men's and women's basketball teams. Clint Wright, I saw him earlier. Is he here? Yes. And Rebecca Kershaw. I don't know that she could be with us today, correct? Okay. All right, so speaking of athletics, I do want to acknowledge and thank the athletics department because Chad in particular, under the leadership of Dr. Hardy, has really moved us forward to ensure that we were able to complete all of the application process to be considered for the NJCAA membership. We should hear from them January the 16th. And so we expect that news to be positive, and we will be very excited about what is to come after that announcement. So you will hear more about that as we move forward. You will also hear more about our mascot. We have narrowed that search thanks to a committee that worked with the marketing team here, Naima Ford, as well as Access U. We've narrowed that search, and so you will receive a survey after convocation today to receive your feedback regarding our mascot. So I know you're all excited about that, and wait until you see what you get to choose from. So we're looking forward for you to give us feedback. Please do so, and look for that survey after convocation. As I transition from our court initiatives, I do want to talk a little bit about our fall initiatives, and some of these programs you are aware of, but I want to give you an update because you've heard a lot about how we have grown our enrollment. Some of the programs that have been put in place to help do that work includes Monarch Ready. It is a partnership with ODU, and we've partnered with a lot of colleges, which I'll share more with you in a couple of slides. But the update I wanted to share is that we have been able to graduate, if you will. They didn't officially graduate, but transfer 5 of the 10 students who have already completed their requirements. 5 students have decided to stay with us. And so for those of you who are not familiar with Monarch Ready, it provides students in the community the opportunity to come to us first because they were denied admission at ODU. So it opens the door for them by giving them another way to reach their goal. And because we are so wonderful as a community, And because 5 of those students started with us, they decided to stay with us. So that says a lot about the work that you do on a daily basis in the classroom. Another partnership that we have in addition to the Monarch Ready initiative is that we expanded our partnership to include an MOU with Christopher Newport, and we renewed our MOU with Norfolk State University. And so these agreements introduce the CNU Ready program, which mirrors the ODU program, so students who are denied admission to CNU can also come and start at TCC first. We already have 7 students who are in this program, and as well as NSU, we've been working with them for years, but we were excited that Dr. Constant met with the presidents of each of those institutions in the fall and signed those MOUs. And another partnership aimed at boosting enrollment is the development of a leadership and customer service enhancement course, partnering with Rivers Casino employees. And this fall, we successfully enrolled 140 employees in this program. I have to take this moment to thank Dr. Hardy, Dr. Burge Hall, Michelle Barnes for making sure that we launched this program and that we did it well. So thank you all for your hard work. Now, I'm sure many of you have already heard of the Strategic Enrollment Management Committee. It is another initiative for us to continue to support our enrollment growth. To date, we have identified 37 barriers and resolved 16 of them. We have work groups who are working to resolve the other barriers. If you are here and you are a member of the Strategic Enrollment Management Committee, please stand, and there's always a reason I ask you to stand, and you know what the reason is. Please stand if you are here, please and thank you, please and thank you. Yes. Thank you for the work that you're doing. It is a heavy lift, and they continue to do this work. We meet regularly, but I ask them to stand because if you find out that there's any barrier, as small or large, please make sure you share it with the committee. You can email me directly, or there is a barrier reporting form that's located on the SharePoint site under Student Affairs Quick Links. So I just want to make sure that you continue to let us know what you see because you engage with the students on a regular basis and you know what many of their issues are, and we want to make sure that we address those issues. Transitioning from our fall initiatives, we do have some spring initiatives coming up, and I really want you to participate in these spring initiatives. As you know, human trafficking remains a critical issue nationally, but specifically here in the Hampton Roads area, it is a large issue. And so to raise awareness, we are all going to wear blue on January the 14th. We did it last year, but we didn't have as many people as I would like wearing blue that day. So please tell your students, we will market this, but we want you to wear blue, we want your students to wear blue, and then we want to take pictures and post those pictures. And again, this is for us to show that we are aware of the human trafficking issue and we want to bring awareness to this issue. Another way we're going to bring awareness to the issue is the Red Sand Project. And so this project will take place on Tuesday, January 28th at noon at the Virginia Beach Student Center. If you are available, please come and attend. Bring your students with you. We would love for you to attend this event. We pour red sand in the cracks of the sidewalk. What it does is bring awareness to human trafficking and reminds us visually of how many people actually fall between the cracks as it relates to the human trafficking issue. I want to thank Dr. Emily Hartman for coordinating both of these programs and continuing to coordinate strong student engagement programs for our students. Another key initiative this spring is the implementation of RAVE. It will be our new emergency alert system. This system will enable us to reach our community instantly all at once, text, email, desktop alerts, and social media. Additionally, this system will be an opt-out system, so you do not have to register. You would have to select to opt out if you do not want to receive the emergency notifications. So we are moving away from 2 systems in 2 departments with you having to register to 1 system where you do not have to register. I thought I would hear. Thank you. Thank you. I knew you would be excited. Okay. And then finally, skip to the thank you. Finally, we will continue to promote our emergency training video. As you know, this is mandated by state legislation. The mandate requires that all first-year students receive emergency preparedness training through this video. We launched it last semester, but I'm sharing it again this semester for those of you who may not be familiar with it. It is in the college syllabus template. There is a link so you can make sure that your students click on that link and watch the video. It is only 3 minutes long. We also post it in Canvas. We send text to the students. They get it in our orientation sessions and in our SDV courses as well. But we want to make sure that all students, not just first year, all students watch this short video, 3 minutes long. And so that concludes all of my updates. And so I want to thank you for your attention and your patience. And it is my honor to introduce VP Hall, Vice President for Workforce Solutions.
All right, all right. I am the last person between you and pinching and cake. No pinching, no pinching. All right, give one more hand to VP Campbell. So this is a true story. When I first came in last March, we had a WEDAC and ASAC committee meeting up in, I think it was Roanoke. And I'm still learning the team and really didn't know everybody. But VP Campbell, she had one standing ovation. Then she had another standing ovation. Then she had a third standing ovation. So I walked away from that meeting saying, wow, she is a rock star. She is a rock star, that's right. Want to start with our introduction of new team members. So we have 3 new team members that have joined us since August or September or so. Marquita Brown is the first one I want to mention. I'm not sure if Marquita is here today. Nope. But Cody mentioned that we are doing a lot more on the IT and business side. And so Marquita is our person that's going to be designated to growing that side of our business. We are very excited. And all 3 of our folks we have poached from somewhere. And so we have poached her from Norfolk State, and we are very excited to have her on board. I saw Maria Duran is in the house. If she could please stand. All right, you all saw Cody up here on the stage. He is now an AVP. He was in that previous role as an assistant coordinator, and so that position has been vacant for a year, and so we are so happy to have Maria on board to stand in that position. We think she's going to do a great job. She has a Tidewater degree in there, but she also came from Old Dominion, so we're happy to have Maria on board. And then Scott McNeil, I don't think Scott is here. I don't know if I saw him today, but he is our new lead instructor on welding. We are trying to have as many lead instructors as we can to make sure that we fill out those positions and have that flexibility. I asked Scott to dress up, and he said, yes, I'm already dressed up, and that's his picture there. A few of our highlights. First, we reinstituted the Workforce Advisory Board. That had been dormant since COVID. As you all know, Workforce we are highly integrated and highly responsive. We want to be highly responsive to industry, and so we want to make sure that we reinstituted the advisory board to have that direct connection to industry. We did that in November. We're going to do 2 meetings a year, so our next one will be in March. We are so happy to have Mike Paris, who will chair that committee. And many of you all know Mike. He is he's a TCC alum, number 1, but he's also a big advocate for TCC and a big advocate for Workforce, and we're glad to be able to restart that. Part of our initiative, as Dr. Constant has mentioned, is number one, enrollments, but for us to do more enrollments, we need to add more programs. So we've added a couple new programs this past fall, and contract training as well. And so we have an IEC apprenticeship, a Norfolk Naval Shipyard contract that's about $240,000 for contract training that will conclude this year. We have the TST Fab and Machine Welding Mobile Lab. They've been hosting it, or hosted it all of last fall, so that was an exciting opportunity to be able to place our mobile lab in a location. And then we also have the Portsmouth at Work contract that's in place. In addition there, we have Fast Forward. We have CNA approval, so that just gives us another funding opportunity for students to be able to participate and make their way, be an on-ramp into our education, and then medical auditor. So these two areas are highlighted by Laura Hansen and Cody Fleming. I'd like to ask them to restand again. They've done a great job and continue to do a great job for those two programs. This past year, normally we do 4 times a year, we do a JSTP graduation. And that's a great opportunity for our students to be able to stand and cross the stage. This year, we decided to include all of workforce programs, and we did that in September. We're gonna do it again in March. We had about 100 students that participated, and I tell you what, this is a great opportunity for our students to be able to cross that stage, many of whom have never crossed the stage, and to be able to receive that certification, have their families there, have their friends there. That was a great recognition. A lot of people appreciated the fact that they were able to do that, so we did it again this past fall. We're gonna do it again. On the right side there, that's one of our older students, and you can see she was just so happy to be able to be recognized by TCC in front of her family. Our enrollments are up. Anthony mentioned some of our regular enrollments. We're up about 20%. On the duplicated side, we're up about 22%. But the next number I wanted to show you there, and hopefully you can see it, is the Fast Forward. Fast Forward program is one of the major funding sources from the state for workforce programs. We are up 54% on the duplicated side and 44% on the 54% on the unduplicated side and 44% on the duplicated side. Those are huge numbers for workforce. And what I also highlighted there, we are ahead of VPCC, we are ahead of PDC, and we're also ahead of NOVA. And so we're making our way up that list. This year, we also received the VCCS Chancellor's Award for Outstanding Achievement through collaboration. We did that through our maritime training program and in cooperation with several of our partners. And Laura Hansen and Mike Vanderwerf have been leading those programs. And as Dr. Constant mentioned, the National Bellwether Award that's there. Let me just mention on that, we are being recognized for our Skilled Trades Academy. And the Skilled Trades Academy didn't just automatically become something great since I've gotten here. As Chris mentioned, we need to go out and tell our story. Our Skilled Trades Academy was established in 2018. I want to mention Laura Hansen again and Mike Vanderwerf. They built that Skilled Trades Academy. And we're going to grow it. Dr. Constant has pushed us to grow it. We've expanded it, as VP Hardeman mentioned. But this was an opportunity for us to be able to take that asset, to take that highlight, and tell the story. And so the Bellwether Award is just that opportunity to take something that we're already doing and doing great with and telling the story. Now, let me flip that around just a little bit. How we applied for the Bellwether Award. When I was at Alamo Colleges actually runs the Bellwether Award. And so the lady that oversees the Bellwether program was down the office from me. And so when I got here, I said, you know what, let me just look at when the next date for the application was. And when I looked, I think we had 2 weeks to be able to put that application and turn it in. And so I thought about, should we wait till next year? I said, no, we're gonna do it right now. And so thanks to Emily Richardson, I'm not sure if Emily is here, but she helped us put that application together. Of course, Laura and Mike helped us put that application together. We did it in 2 weeks, and thankfully we were one of the top 10 finalists. We are preparing now to be able to present in February, and so we hope to send a team down to present for that award. Last slide here is some of our initiatives that are coming up. We want to continue our restructuring and alignment. I've been here since March, and we've done a great job of restructuring. We want to better align, as Cody mentioned earlier, with our credit side. We want workforce to be able to be, number one, an option for students, but number two, a feeder to our academic programs. And so CPL, as credit for prior learning, as Cody mentioned earlier, is going to be a big issue and item for me. And I want to make sure that that dashboard item is something that I grow and our team grows over time. We also want to duplicate the success of the Skilled Trades Academy. Skilled Trades Academy has been our true highlight on the workforce side for a little bit. But I will tell you, that's not where most of our enrollments are. Most of our enrollments are on the healthcare side. But what the Skilled Trades Academy has been able to do is give us an access point, a visible media point to be able to highlight our programs. So number one, we want to duplicate it. So we're looking at opportunities to duplicate the Skilled Trades Academy, perhaps in Norfolk, perhaps in Virginia Beach. But we also want to look at other opportunities to be able to have that sort of model in place. And so what I'm thinking is, can we do a workforce healthcare academy and concentrate our healthcare resources and programming into one location to, again, highlight what we're doing on the healthcare side. So those are a couple of items that I'm looking at. And then on the HRWC side, the Hampton Roads Workforce Council, they have spent the last 3 to 5 years focusing on the maritime trades. They are now turning their focus to healthcare. Maritime has typically been primarily on the workforce side, but for healthcare, there'll be certainly a workforce component to that, but we also think that there'll be more on the credit side. So we see a joint hand-in-hand approach to the Hampton Roads Workforce focus on healthcare on both the credit as well as the workforce side. We're going to continue adding programs. We're adding staffing to be able to do that. So we see the business and IT that Marquita brings to the table. We're doing that on the nonprofit side with Sarah Lyndon Brooks. Cody mentioned our first responders and what we're doing there. Our mobile labs, we have 4 mobile labs on the workforce side that have been relatively unutilized. So we're pushing forward to make sure that we utilize those mobile labs. And apprenticeships, that's been a big deal on the credit side for many years. It's been a priority for Dr. Constant. She wants us to grow those, and if there are opportunities where we're not already doing apprenticeships on the credit side, Dr. Snyder and I are going to work together to see if there's an opportunity to do more workforce apprenticeships in gaps that are not currently being filled. And then wind energy, that's been around a thought for a while. It's here. It's been slow. It probably will continue to be slow with the new administration. But that said, we want to be sure that that TCC is a player going forward in the future. So we're going to lay the groundwork now to be able to have a GWO certified program. It's going to cost us about $500,000 to be able to do that. But I think long-term, it's going to be an opportunity for TCC to be a big player on the wind energy side. And then the last thing I'll mention is marketing. When I came, we spent, as a division, I think about $5,000, $7,000 on marketing. We grew that this year, or in the fall, to $12,000. And I will tell you that little bit of $12,000 has grown our enrollments from what it was previously to 54 and 45%. So I think if we do more on the marketing side for workforce, to tell people about who we are and what we're doing, we can grow our enrollment numbers over time. That's it from me. My last 2 quotes. 2 things from Maria Antoinette. I don't necessarily like the context, but she said, "Let them eat cake." And then the last quote from Beth Lundy is, "No pinching."
Before we close, I'd like to thank all of today's presenters for the valuable updates and insights they've shared with us throughout the morning. Your contributions are essential to keeping us informed and inspired as we move forward together. So let's give everybody a round of applause. I'd also like to express our gratitude to several groups who contributed to making this event special. A heartfelt thank you to the Chesapeake Campus Horticulture Program for providing the stunning plants that adorn our space today. Our appreciation also goes to the talented TCC Culinary Program, students for preparing the cake that we will enjoy a little bit later. I've seen it, it looks good, and they made generous slices. So, a special thank you to our Chesapeake Student Center for hosting with such care and professionalism. Also, I'd like to recognize the incredible students from our Visual Arts and Design Center. Their inspiring artwork is displayed here this morning. And I also want to plug picking up your own copy of the 340. I don't know where I got 504 from. I think that's a K-12 education thing. I'm getting mixed up already. The 340 Art and Design Annual Edition, which features students' art, and it was fun looking through. So let's have a little fun. If you have your sunglasses, please join me in putting those sunglasses on. They're in your bags, or put the sunglasses you wore in on. And I'm going to turn it over to the TCC Jazz Band to help us celebrate.